actually have to join the VTT.
I think he's driving a manual transmission for this, and he wants to make sure we don't crash the gears.
All right, folks. Welcome to Old Dominion Heroes, our Thursday night game of what used to be an adventure in the Candlekeep. It's quickly morphed into a journey surrounding the events of witches.
Witches!
I'm just going to give a brief recap, and then we'll go ahead and kick things off.
Those naughty, naughty people. Friends of Venlee. I've been watching them. But the doll is at the bottom of a lake in a damn book. I must find a way back to them. And that unicorn. I'll make the potion if it's the last thing I do. Well, no matter. A paladin with a demon. A strange little man from the Feywild with a bunny rabbit friend and a pump. An elf from the Shadow Realm. A wee little gnome with a silly flying book. I can't forget about Chip. Yes. His brother Swayze fits in great here. He's the best footman I've ever had. The 3 previous keep my bed warm at night. A woodsman? He thinks himself brave. My magic scared him enough. And that parrot? Well, I'll add it to my menagerie soon enough. I don't know what to make of this other witch in the autumn coat. But, like I've done with all the others, I'll put them under my thumb too. They'll remember that Baba Yaga is queen of the witches.
And with that, I will kick off the game.
Good job, man.
Yeah, excellent character. I think I'm not seeing the right-hand part of the screen because it's covered up by that strip with the a knit on it, maybe.
There shouldn't be anything over there. There's nothing you would need to see anyway.
There's my face and Brian's face.
I don't know what you're looking. I'm just looking at the map. I see everybody on the map just fine.
Well, look at Twitch.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's fine.
yeah.
Everybody
Really?
looks fine.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, we're missing, Jaron being at the left. And then...
I
also
can
have-
see the 2, like there's a white square with a brown square, and I can like a diamond, and I can see like a third of it.
Be
And
right
then
back.
there's like
Yeah, I mean, that's the overlay for the map. It's a witch's hand. So you're only going to be able to see in the cauldron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an overlay for the map. Basically, the entire image. Oh, I see what you're saying. Hold on 1 second here. I fixed it. There we go. Sorry, my bad. We should be in business now. I had something turned off. No, you're
I
fine.
figured it was something.
Yeah, I had a source
Okay,
image
yeah,
hidden.
there we are.
I had a source image hidden. So yeah, just to give some ground on the game, around the game board you will see Avvina, Jaron, Venlee, Harvey, Chip, Happy, and Mel. Each of them has a token that fits their personality. Avvina, a fire spirit. Jaron has a gaseous demonic form. Venlee, the head of a little Raggedy Ann doll. Harvey, a sandwich. Chip, a wood block with an axe in it. Happy, a spell book. And Mel, a Looney Tunes portal. And they can elaborate on that as far as their characters, and maybe you'll see how that fits them as you watch the story and it unfolds. But other than that, I'll kick it off to my band of players. You all finished up in the study and took some R&R at the Hearth, a quaint little tavern and inn nestled within the grounds of the castle walls for the Candlekeep. Welcome to visitors as well. You sit around a nice warm hearth, enjoying a meal and some drinks, and it's getting to be the latter part of the evening.
Jaron stands up and asks if he can address the party.
Sure. Sure, Jaron.
I'm listening.
As many of you know, I'm not much of a talker. So this what I'm about to say is a little difficult for me. I feel that while our party has been brought together by a lot of circumstance, that we have lost some of the trust that we had in each other. So I am going to correct that on my part and share something with you about my past that I only recently fully uncovered. And hopefully it'll help you understand what I'm doing today. When I was 6, I had a sister. And he was kidnapped by the Hag. And, well, some adventurers attempted to rescue us. They failed. And he fell through a portal into the Feywild. And I never saw her again. For some reason, my memory of that whole scene was wiped from my head. When I went back to my parents, I even told them that my sister was gone. They blamed me because I couldn't give them any answers. I felt the loss very deeply, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't have the memory until recently. Or even know what happened to her. So, part of why I became paladin was to amass enough power to be able to fight evil, save people like my sister. When I was a young paladin, the order that I joined was corrupted, and the head of the order made a pact with the devil that luckily I was off on a mission of my own, but the result of the pact was that an entire city vanished and was sent to one of the nine levels of hell. And really destroyed my faith in the whole establishment, church, paladins in general, kind of adrift. I still wanted to help people, and I still wanted to get powerful enough to fight evil. But I realized that I, myself, could never have the power to challenge. I had recovered the pack, and I needed more power. And that leads us to where we are now. I made a pact with the demon prince Latin, who currently inhabits my body.
Wait.
Has
What?
given me access to crazy amount of forbidden knowledge and power. Enough to take on witches. We have an agreement that no collateral damage or as little as possible will happen to the party. And I will still be here. For the moment, in the foreseeable future, our motives align. And we talk on a pretty regular basis. He's in my head. But yeah. Over the last few weeks, I've become much more powerful than I was when we entered Fistandia mansion.
He inhabits your body?
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds hot. Dish the dirty details.
That doesn't sound healthy.
Basically. Yes, Chip.
Does it like? Is he like? So there's a dude inside of you, and he's moving around.
No.
Can you feel him inside of you?
Like he's in my head all the time. He sees
Oh.
and hears everything I do. And will
Wait.
comment on it.
So like, can you see him physically?
Not if you manifest when I
Wait.
use my powers. I've noticed a certain darkness enveloping me lately.
Wait. So
But
that black stuff that we've been seeing around you, swirling around you, that's been the demon lord Grazit.
yeah,
Gra-
it took us a while to find a balance, but we have now. And
That's good to hear.
I'm bringing this to you.
Are you gonna
Because
die?
not anytime soon. I mean, we all die.
It's good to hear that you found a balance. That's really important in any relationship.
Right? Now, I have access to power that I never knew existed, and I feel like I can now take on the witches, and guys that hates witches as much as even I do, Chip. So
So
You're not
Jared, go ahead.
You're not going to make a city disappear, are you?
no,
He already has.
when
You said it's your fault that the city disappeared.
no, I wasn't there when I said it.
But you
The former head of my order made it.
see. Oh.
So basically, the former head of his order, the Order of the Companions,
We're
made
the ones like directly involved with it, right?
yeah, and this the head of the Companions order made a deal with Zariel, the Archdevil.
Badass devil,
In
by the
return for
way.
that deal, the entire city got sent to the Hell Dimension.
Yep.
Yep, first level of hell.
So I have a question, Jaron. Is that okay?
Go ahead, Happy.
Okay. So you said for right now the interests are aligned, and so you're looking for power and knowledge to fight the hags that have your sister, right? So that part makes sense. what, and the demon is inside you and gets to walk around. I guess he was trapped somewhere. But what does he say he wants to do that aligns his interest with ours? What's in it
He
for him?
wants to kill Baba Yaga.
Very good question.
Did he say
He
why?
wants to kill Baba Yaga, and he thinks that our group of adventurers with our very backgrounds is his best chance to get access to
So
her.
if we kill Baba Yaga, is he going to be worse than Baba Yaga? Did he give you any information about why he wants to kill her and why we would pick him over somebody else?
Well, he's a demon.
He has a very complicated history with Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Also a demon.
She was briefly his mother-in-law,
Oh.
but you know,
Well, that's probably enough right there, right? I mean,
yeah, relationships aside,
yeah.
we want, you know, you all want to save this unicorn, right?
Yes. And it
The only way to save this unicorn and protect her from Baba Yaga is to defeat Baba Yaga.
Agreed.
Well, there's the unicorn and there's the children that she has captured and enslaved. And it sounds like she's pushing the Feywild into the regular world in a bad way and upsetting all kinds of balances of power. I don't like.
Well,
She's got stuff going on in our library at Candlekeep, and we're getting the fallout here. I'm really not happy about that.
So Baba Yaga rotates between different planes, so you know it's hard to know exactly where she'll pop up in the material world. You know.
But if we have a unicorn, I bet you we'll see her.
Yeah, but I do believe that in order to get to her and defeat her, that Plaza would be an asset.
And then,
I have a question.
Yes,
If
Nina?
that's is Greshit going to try to invade any of our minds again? Because I recall
Also, good question.
So
if
I do have telepathy. Partially because of that, and I will do my best. I won't enter your minds against your will again.
The answer is no.
The only reason I did that earlier was to show you what I was seeing.
that is not the moment I am talking of. When we were in the clearing with the old tree, Greshit projected his image into my mind,
Yes.
trying to do whatever it is he wanted to do.
He is a
Something
chaotic evil
older,
being.
but he did not anticipate that I had
But
something already.
I will tell you that I will do my best to keep him as under control as I can. And back then, we were still establishing a relationship. And, you know, he wasn't sure. He also wasn't quite complete yet. So, happy. I know that I erased this from my mind, but
Erased what?
you were temporarily holding part of Bradley.
Huh?
Oh, this is getting really kinky. Okay.
Yeah, so I accidentally got you partially possessed by Bradley.
You know, I was acting kind of strange there for a while. I was not sure why.
I then used my new powers to remove him from your at the same time, with your permission, I erased all memory of him being in you because you were kind of disgusted by it, which is understandable.
I could see it was not a good fit. Yeah.
But in return, you did get Bob, who talks now, and that was granted
Yeah.
to you by Grazit.
Oh, that deal that happened with the vial? That was all tied in with Bob and Gret. Okay. So this goes back to those knives, maybe?
Yeah, it does. Grazit was imprisoned in the blade.
Oh. Now there was a gold one that we used in the thing. There was a silver one. Is there anything in the silver one?
So you tricked us.
I don't believe that there is anything in the silver one.
Actually, Chip, I need you to roll me an insight check.
Ooh.
I wasn't exactly sure what would happen.
-1 to my roll, and I got a critical fail.
All right, so
He's an outstanding gentleman, and he pays his taxes at the end of every month.
yeah, so you believe that you believe everything that Jaron is saying.
Yeah, you are so believable.
And also, Jaron is very sincere. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yes. How does he feel about the unicorn?
He thinks that it will make a great snack for Baba Yaga, but he has no ill intent.
Stay away from the unicorn.
But
The
it's
unicorn.
because part of the whole thing with the unicorns is that she's taking them out of the Feywild and they're protectors of the Feywild. And so if we can stop her doing that, I think it stabilizes a lot of things going on. So say we take her down, what would he be okay with the unicorn doing? Is he okay with it going back to the Feywild, or does he want to have a snack on?
He doesn't need the unicorn for it, like she does. And while he's not the biggest fan of unicorns, them being good and him being evil, he has no plans for the unicorn. He's fine for it to go back where it came from.
All right.
As far as you are concerned, as far as he's told you.
Well, I feel like there's not a lot of choices here, that if I sit back and do nothing, that bad things are going to continue to happen, and that it's my onus to go and try and do something about it. But I'm just going to say to each of you that if we get into this and I end up getting demonically possessed, just take my ass down, okay? Let's go after Baba Yaga, but if it gets ugly there at the end, I don't want to go on being demonically possessed. Just take me down.
Will do.
Will everybody do that for me?
Will do.
Yes.
If
Mel?
not anyone else, I will.
Thank you. Because who knows who would be the person left standing. I think I need to know that all of you guys are behind me on that, and that you won't let me go on as some shell of myself being perverted by evil. Okay?
My question is, how do we know that you are evil at this point? I mean, do your eyes roll back in the back of your head and you start spouting demonic phrases or crawling on the ceiling? I mean, some people could do that naturally.
I will keep an eye on him.
Grazit was not very happy, inside happy, no pun intended.
Good.
So he would not want to re-enter you as a vessel. No offense, Happy.
No, that's good for me. But still, who knows who else he's got deals with? If something happens and we manage to take her down, but I'm not going to be myself, I still don't want to go on.
Hey, we got a long rest, right?
Yes.
Yes, this counts as a long rest.
Cool.
Happy, do you want to establish like a demonic possession safe word? That way we'll know. We don't have to guess.
Quadrupeds.
Quadrupeds. Ridiculous.
Oreos.
Oreos.
Yep.
Does anyone have any objection to Jaron staying in the party?
And Bob will know. If something's wrong with me, Bob will know, and he can talk to you now. So listen to Bob, because he knows for sure. Right?
Okay, that makes sense.
You have been in this party longer than I. I have just met you. I cannot object.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's one of those new relationships. I think Grazit is still sort of, sort of putting his best foot forward right now, not really letting you see the real Grazit because he wants to make that good first. You know how it is with new relationships. I think that's what you got going on right now. We'll probably find out more about it later. But that's adorable that you guys are, establishing that balance and everything. It's kind of weird that you kicked Happy out of all that, But jealousy, new relationships, that goes hand in hand too. That's fine. No judgment.
Your conversations weave later into the evening. The few visiting patrons that had come to the hearth for dinner shuffle out and find their rooms where they're staying, or perhaps take a carriage or horse back out onto the North Road, concluding their business at Candlekeep. The avowed cloistered monk, Torben, who runs the hearth, comes over to your seated arrangement around the fire pit and says, "Well, I could put another log on the fire for you, but each of the rooms is outfitted with its own hearth. Nights get cold in an old castle like this. Best to turn in, I suppose. While you all were all talking, that wizard man Matreus left a note. He said he had wagons arranged for you, and would meet you back in the fiefdom. Yes, he said a little town called Lykenstone. From what I gather, before he handed me the note, he did say that the wagons would be prepped for your departure by morning." And he hands over a small folded piece of parchment with a wax seal, and basically takes a casual little bow, nods his head, turns, collects some cups and plates, and moseys off to tidy up the remaining things he had to take care of in the hearth before dousing the candles and lamps and turning in for the night in his little private quarters behind the bar area. You guys take the note and review the details, and it essentially says more or less what Torben relayed to you. That Matreus had left Candlekeep and made haste for the fiefdom of Lykenstone, and that the wagons would be prepped. The only other things that it mentions in the note that Torben did not know and was not privy to is that when you all arrived at the town, you would need to call for an audience with the local druid Snicklefritz to be given entry into Lykenstone. And night moves forward.
So we have to find Snicklefritz.
Yes.
We have to call for an audience, right?
Yes,
What's his
yes.
race?
What is
he do?
Snicklefritz is a dwarf. He's a dwarf druid. He's like the old druid that lives in this fiefdom of Lykenstone.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it'd be like if there's town guards or something, we'd have to
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Jaron actually journeyed some with him before he came to Candlekeep, and the town there's a darkness and a curse upon the town. And we were investigating it, Harvey and I, before we got sent to Candlekeep. But it was always our intent before we got stuck in the mansion and then stuck in the book to come back and help the people in the town.
So, as I understand it, you guys came from there to here to get
Yeah.
help from Candlekeep. So,
So
do we feel like Matreus has all the information that we needed to have?
So
Yeah.
when you start speaking about Matreus and coming from the previous place, you see Harvey perk up and he takes a little tea cake out of his craw, nibbles it down real quick, almost awkwardly, and kind of chokes real quick. Yeah. What Dark and Scary says is true. We totally have to go back to Lycanstone. That place is way messed up.
Okay, wait, I concur.
Okay, so we don't need to get any other information or any other research about Larue or unicorns or whatever's going on with the hag or whatever's going on with this town. Matreus has it all, and we'll meet him there. Is that because I mean, Happy's
Um,
used to going to find the right book, and then you do your reference library thing.
yeah, so
We trust him.
Play as much as I trust anyway.
That's a ringing endorsement.
so Jaron and Harvey would retell details of the fact that they were given audience by the King of Whitestone, and the king had sent them on this mission to aid the town, especially because of their prior experience with the witch. And so Matreus had been their contact at Candlekeep the whole time during their initial travels to and the first, day and night that they were in this little fiefdom of Lycanstone. So some of the prior events that they would have experienced would have been arriving in town, meeting Snicklefritz, and being given the details of the problem the town faces. And then ultimately, their failure in the town led to them leaving for additional help from Matreus and presenting the witch's spell book, bound in human skin, that they gave at the Candlekeep as their price for entry. So at this point, Matreus had been at the Candlekeep researching the occurrences of Baba Yaga showing herself on Faerun again, and had heard from the King of Whitestone about the death of the unicorn based on Chip's account. And so all of these strange things, along with the lost loggers that Chip had helped to save, the kidnapping of the children in the woods that Harvey helped, and now recently this blighted village, these events are adding up to a strange series of connected but somewhat loose and somewhat coincidental, and all pointing back to a problem with witches.
You know, I believe that we need to go back, but if we all need to know, we could. But the town is deeply in trouble.
So
I mean, it seems silly to go to any town that's not deeply in trouble, right? Just moths to flame.
Nice.
There's a
Nice
ta-
on vacation, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, let's go.
Yeah,
Do it
deeply
in
in
the
trouble. Deeply in trouble, yeah. I like it. That sounds nice.
So you all pack the wagons the next day with the belongings you arrived in the Candlekeep with, and you set out on the road, heading down the steep, winding path from the cliff sides overhanging the sea of the Candlekeep back to the North Road, and eventually making your way deeper into the forest. I'm going to bring up the overview map so you guys can see.
Whoa, fancy.
Sorry, it's a little big.
Where are we at? Is this on
So-
above VTT?
Yeah. So Candlekeep is not pictured on this map. This is much more inland from Candlekeep. But in the
My
north,
above ETT is it's having little problems.
yeah, the map might be a
alright.
little big. The
Take a
upper
minute.
the upper left-hand corner of the map is the actual Kingdom of Lycanstone, and due south of it is the Blighted Village, the Lycanstone fiefdom. In the prior game's events, Harvey had been in the town of Brightmoss and encountered a witch, and Chip had actually been in the Brackenwood. And so your wagons arrive at the borders of a small farming town, the fiefdom of Lycanstone. Arriving at the town gates, the wagons park a fair distance off, and the drivers of the wagons say, "Well, we've earned our pay. It's back to the Candlekeep. If you need transport, you can send a letter, and we'll come bring you back. Of course, we'll have to go on one of the accounts. Ask Matreus if he'd be willing to pay for your fare." And the lead driver of the wagon train pulls away from this off-road and leaves you all standing at the gates of this moderately sized little fiefdom, fenced in with castle-like walls and some turrets. A man meets you at the front of the gate, and he stands there and says, "We've been expecting you. But unfortunately, I cannot grant you access. This town is under a strict quarantine by orders of the King of Whitestone."
A ride just left.
We need to have an interview with the druid Snicklefritz. He wants us here. Please contact him now.
Snicklefritz, you say? He calls up to one of the guards at the top of the turret, and he says, "Raise the gate." And he raises the gate, and you see standing behind the gated access, about 40 feet off in the distance, a strange, short little man wearing animal skins with a red beard, bushy eyebrows, and a bulbous nose. He's not even really looking at you. He stares down at a book and kind of leans into an arm crutch. And he raises his voice and says,
Caleb, what is it? Have they arrived?
And the captain of the guard, Caleb, looks back and says, "Well, a strange group has requested an audience with you, and your name doesn't come up very often. Unless it's something important."
I think people would say it whenever they could. Although he doesn't look like a Snicklefritz. He looks like a pimple push, don't you think?
Do you think that we're going to have some limericks before we get done with this?
Oh my goodness. So, Snicklefritz vouches for you and says,
I've been standing here waiting for the gate to open. I knew that they were arriving. Saw it in my crystal.
and Caleb, the captain of the guard, kind of rolls his eyes and he's like, "Yeah, okay, old man." And he turns and walks into the gate and calls the other guard in. And Snicklefritz sort of turns on his heel and starts walking further into the town, almost ignoring you altogether. And he begins to walk away from these open gates. And you see the captain, one of the guards in the turrets, shout down and says, "Well, I'm not going to stand here all day. Get inside. We still have to lock the town down before nightfall."
How tall are these walls?
40 feet.
I'm gonna run to the top of this one.
All right.
Guards are very grumpy. I'm not sure that would be effective.
So you describe what you're doing to get up there for me.
I just run up the side of the wall.
All right. Is that a
'Cause
feature?
I can do that.
That's a feature.
I can
you
do
have?
that now. I'm level 10.
Okay. So you start running up the side of the wall, and you, I guess, perch on the edge of the turret.
Yeah, I'll sit right there. Then
Alright.
jump off the other side.
All right. You land
Or, over here.
Oh, okay. So you run up and sort of Matrix cartwheel your way over the gate and land with a thud. And the rest of you look around and notice Venlee is gone.
Superhero landing.
Push the hair back for effect.
Damn, Skippy.
I doubt I notice any such thing. But I'll walk through the gate, and as I'm walking through, I'd like to point out that standing there all day is, I'm pretty sure, literally your job description. So, you know. Whoop, 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 whoop. I don't think we're putting you out at all.
So the rest of you make your way through the gates into the town.
Happy's gonna tell them all, thank you. We appreciate your help.
And this guard over here leans over the edge and he says, "Huh? Where did that come from? Nobody ever says thank you." And he puts his hand to his visor and looks out, kind of squinting in the sun's in his eyes, and also trying to peer past this tree line. He says, "Where'd the voice come from?"
So I guess I want to come up. I'll come up and wave.
"Oh, hello, little girl."
I may be tiny, but I probably know your grandmother.
And he just laughs. He's, "Yeah, okay, whatever."
I'll tell her you had good manners. Thank you.
So everybody else moves inside.
Avvina is riding in the back on her
Yep.
elk.
All
That
right.
she summoned to get here.
Oh, wait, I got Bob too.
All right. So you all make...
Bob's painting the god towers and making them look really heroic.
So you all basically make your way into this gateway entry past these two guard turrets, and you see a few terracotta shingled homes and a few random market stalls. You make your way through the main thoroughfare of the town. It seems like this entryway actually runs straight through and out another gate, heading northward, getting closer to the capital and ultimately the castle of Whitestone. And as you make your way through the town, the central hub is what looks like it could have been a very capable market square, able to host a good bit of people trading goods. But as you all come into this area, you start to realize that there are very few people hanging about, and the life of the town itself seems to be just sort of sullen and quiet. There's not a whole lot of movement. Looking around the center of the town, you see a few merchants around market carts. You see a stout man with a red beard with his elbow on a water fountain. And you notice right away that there are two very prominent buildings in the heart of the town. One of them is the Manticore's Inn, and it has a overhanging signpost with horses, where horses could be parked out when hitching posts nearby. And then directly across from that, through the center of the square, is the private residence and town hall, where the mayor does his business.
Where'd Pimplepuss go?
I think he's the mayor.
You think he's the mayor?
I don't know. I'm not that smart.
Such an evocative name, Mel.
So you said you were asking for where Pimplepuss went?
Yes.
All right. So as
Or
you
did he meet with us and just wave us on in? I don't know.
No, so he was walking ahead of you a few paces. Go ahead, everybody, roll for perception for me real quick as you all wander into this town.
Yay.
Bring it up.
13?
Nice.
Ooh, I
Mel.
am very good at that.
I
Nice.
saw that, Mel.
It's just
Yep.
33.
You could have gotten luck too, I'm just saying.
Casual 33.
18.
All right. So everyone with a 15 or higher, you would be able to track the movement of Snicklefritz as he walks through the main thoroughfare of this little fiefdom. He comes into the market area from the west direction, and he rounds the corner abruptly, still with his nose in his book and kind of hobbling on the crutch under the other arm. And he makes his way up a small landing about 4 or 5 steps and goes through the front saloon-style doors of the Manticore Inn. For those of you who rolled less than a 15, you all are distracted, straggling a few feet behind your party as you notice everyone starts to spill into the central area of the market and huddles around the well in the middle of town.
I just completely forgot who I was looking for.
So we follow Candlekeep into the inn.
Where did he go?
He went to the.
He went into the inn.
I'm gonna.
Oh, I must
I'm
have
gonna-
missed it.
I'm gonna say, look at Mel. You said it's like saloon style doors.
Yeah, it's like a double-style saloon-style door.
I said I'll run over there and I'll dive over the top of the doors into the saloon, make a show of it.
Nice.
Mhm.
But I'll look at
Avvina.
Mel first. I'll look at Mel first and go, "Watch this."
Does he need to hold your beer? I don't know.
Right?
Jaron just casually saunters into the inn.
So, sparing no time, Venlee dives over the double saloon doors into the breezeway and open receiving area of the front of the Manticore Inn and Tavern.
I guess I'll use what you call it, disguise self with the warlock stuff. So as I'm walking up, from anybody inside, it looks like there's like these sort of like big, like massive like legs with spurs and stuff walking up. But then when he opens it up, it's just still his body on top as he walks in.
I thought you were gonna say you had a big mustache and pistols and. Well, hey there.
All right.
What y'all do?
Happy is gonna tell Bob to look around a little bit outside and then meet her inside.
I'll say I've rolled further than that because I can.
And
Clear the
Avina's
doorway a
having
little
some
bit.
audio issues.
Who's having audio issues?
Avvina, and they can't hear or speak. So
Oh,
they just have chat.
weird.
Oh, come back. Maybe.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, because I see Whisper in the Discord call. I mean, he might be
I
best
think
to hang up and then dial back in.
I think he just logged back in.
How about we just message it to him?
Well, yeah, we just went into saloon.
Or just message him the best way to get back in.
Well, I think he's doing that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, did I just hear you?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here.
Yay! We have liftoff.
All right, so you For Venlee and Mel, and I guess Chip, if he would have made his way into the Manticorian quickly, you all would arrive just in time to see Snickle Fritz walk up to the bar counter and address an old man standing behind the counter, scrubbing out cups, and just sort of leaning one elbow while he's doing his work in a rather unenthusiastic manner. And the Snickle Fritz looks at the man with the cup and he says,
Well, Mr. Downing. Cup of the house ale, please.
and the man takes a mug from behind the bar and turns the spout on a keg, filling it up with some frothing warm beer, and puts it on the counter and slides it over to Snickle Fritz. And he just kind of sighs heavily and starts scrubbing the same cup again. And
He didn't pay for it?
no.
Okay. I'll let's see, shit, where is it? Where's it's in inventory, right? Where it is.
What?
How much is it?
The beer itself?
Yeah.
It would be like 2 copper.
Alright, I'll give him 5 copper. Just kind of toss it to him.
So you throw some coins down on the counter, and they clatter into the side of the pewter cup that Lancaster's scrubbing out. And the sound of the coin hitting the bar in the cup alerts him, and he sits up from his elbow and stops scrubbing the cup for a moment, collects the coin in his hands, and looks around to find the source. Scans the room, and he sees you sticking out plain as day. You do not look like anyone he's seen in the town or in the tavern today. And he eyes you and says, "What, for the coin? You want a drink too?"
I mean, and I'll toss him another 5 copper and say, well, I was paying for Snickerdoodle or whatever his name is.
Snickerdoodle. So he takes another mug and
I know what his name is.
Snickle Fritz. He takes another mug and fills it up with ale and slides it across the bar to you, and he says, he laughs when you say the name wrong, and he says, "Oh, Snickle Fritz, so you're with him? Well, maybe there is hope for this damned town."
Well, I don't know if we're with him or not, but we're here.
Well, he's a strange creature. Not many people know of him. So, how do you have business with old Snick?
Oh crap, I did the wrong thing. Well, we were told to come here and announce ourselves to him, and he apparently has some pull here, and he let us in, but I noticed he didn't pay you, so I figured I would go ahead and pay you.
And
He's not the mayor, is he?
Good God, no. Snickle Fritz. Well, he's a fun man and a character, and we poke at him at his expense. He's a great man with a good heart, a heart of lichen-stone. He cares for the people. He's quite quirky, but no, he's not the mayor. Mayor's quite a little... Well, that's not for me to say.
Interesting.
Well, can you keep a secret?
Oh, of course I can.
And he leans down on the bar, and he says, "I guess you caught that near gaff. I don't really like the mayor much. Not many of the people. Not many of the people in Lichenstone do. At least not.
Very subtle.
At least not these past 5 years or so. He's not the same man he was."
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll just wait for the rest of my group to come in here, and I'll just kind of drink my drink.
I'm actually sitting beside you, kind of just like eyeing your drink, and just like my mouth salivating, and I'm like, could maybe I get 2 of those, please?
And when you say that, he saunters down the bar toward you, and he says, 2. And looks you up and down from it and says, yep, sounds about right. Reaches behind and grabs 2 of the larger tankards from the top shelf that have the little dust cup lids. So you've got like these beer steins. And he fills both of the steins with the house ale. And he closes the cap on one, hands you the other one, and flips the lid open and takes a knife and cuts the foam off of the top of the beer stein and sets it down in front of you and says, welcome. What's your name?
The name's Chip. How much?
He says, 5 copper.
Jaron pulls out a gold coin and slides it across the bar and says that the tabs on me.
So you take the gold coin and slide it down, and Lancaster, Downing, the tavern keeping and owner of the inn, picks the coin up and turns around real quick and puts it in his mouth and bites down on it, attempting to make an impression in the soft gold. And instantly realizing that the gold is real, he tucks it down into his breast pocket pouch behind his apron, keeping it close to his heart, taps it, and a smile turns to his face, and he walks down the bar, and he nods toward your direction, and he collects Snicklefritz's cup, and he addresses the male and female standing there, and he says, Dipper, Mabel, make yourselves useful, will you? Go collect some more of these mugs. And he points over his shoulder with his head nodding in the direction of the near empty shelf where the pewter and wood waxed mugs are running empty. And he sends the boy and girl off to scan the bar for empty cups. And he looks at you, Jaron, and he says, thank you, sir. Greatly appreciated. And trying not to seem overly greedy about the coin, he kind of moves midway back down the bar to be in between your company and Venlee and Chips.
And I reply to him that I don't need anything, but I ask him to please serve the rest of my party what he'd like to drink.
And he nods in your direction. He says, aye, master. Will do.
And Happy says, do you have any water or lemonade or anything that's not going to make me fall down?
He looks around for a minute, trying to identify the source of the voice.
I put my hand up.
And he looks down and sees that.
Look at my boobs.
He looks down and sees a tiny childlike hand reaching up over the bar, just barely wrist over the height of the bar countertop. And this looming large man leans over these 2 barrels at the end and says, hello, miss. And
hello.
You said water? Lemonade?
Yeah, anything that's not going to make me fall down. I can't drink these big glasses of ale like these guys.
And so he says, well, I've got something for you. And he rushes off for a moment and reaches under the counter and pulls out a green glass, looks like a champagne bottle, brings it over, and he tugs on the top of the cork, and you hear it pop, and a little bit of fizz comes out of it, and he pours this liquid into a clear glass and reaches down into the counter and grabs a sugar cube and a lemon, squeezes it together, and kind of muddles a little lemonade for you in this glass with this sparkling water. And he says, enjoy, miss. And he's just smiling. He's glad to have people to serve.
Oh, thank you so much. This looks wonderful. We've had a long trip.
Welcome, welcome. And he has a little pep in his step as he kind of walks back and forth, just busily tending to the bar. And Snicklefritz leans against the bar with his elbows, and he says, well, got y'all here. What'd y'all find out from old man Matreus?
He said he'd meet us here. We didn't really find anything out.
And he says, oh, yeah, that's right. He's probably here somewhere. And he says, well, I've got to tend to a few things, and I think I'll get another drink. Find us a table. So he basically sends you all off to find a place to sit.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So, Nickelfoot, can you get us an introduction with the mayor?
An introduction with the mayor. I think that could be arranged.
Please do so.
Well, let's talk about it in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, who does this guy think he is?
Who, Snickle Fritz or the mayor?
Yeah, the Snickle Fritz.
Good.
He's the town druid. He's like literally the only very powerful magic user this town has, essentially.
So he's not in a real rush of any kind.
Oh, you guys don't want to get a booth?
I don't know if we can all fit in one booth. Who's left-handed?
Who's left-handed? That's awesome. That pertains to me so much because of being a lefty.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess everyone's sort of gathered at a table. I see Avvina standing at the bar still with Lancaster Downing to keep.
Yeah, she ushers Hannah in before her,
Okay.
and she's going to. Do you have a room free?
A room? You
Yes.
wish to procure a room?
Just for the time that we spend here.
And he turns around and takes a deep breath.
No one's asked for a room forever.
And he turns back around and he's like,
Their bathrooms are
yes, we have a
outside.
room upstairs. And he says, he's basically like, how many do you want?
On the ground floor.
Just one. She will just hand him a gold coin. Like, she doesn't really use money much, so she just gives it to him.
So I imagine you reach down into your big overnight bag, like we talked about, this just like huge sack of wool that hangs on like one shoulder strap cross-strung over your body, and you dig down in and haphazardly pull a coin, not even paying attention to its color or weight or size, just happens to be gold, and you roll your hand forward like this with a flick of the wrist and just sort of like in disgust that you even have to touch this money. Let it roll off onto the table, and it just kind of clangs, spins around, and lands on its back in front of Torben. And he says, is it just for you, or are your friends staying too?
I'm sure there will be perhaps staying, but this is just for me.
And he presses his luck, and he says, well, miss, it's actually 2 gold for the lot.
Can I make an insight check?
Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
Should be like 2 copper.
All right, yeah, so with your insight check, you can tell right away that he's nervous asking you, but he's also a little bit scared. So he was worried about your response, but he's totally lying. It's not 2 gold for the rooms. You all could stay here tonight for exactly what you paid. It's actually would probably be closer to about 8 silver. For 2.
See, I'm just... So she just gets... She looks him in the eyes, and he is forced to look into these burning irises. Do not press your luck.
He closes his eyes and rubs them,
Local
and
businesses.
rubs them real quick, and he says, aye, miss. The rooms will be turned down and ready for you this evening. And he goes back to scrubbing the same cup he's cleaned over and over and over again.
She will. put an arm around Hannah's shoulder and usher her to the table.
All right.
Oh, is this your little drow buddy?
The dryad, yeah.
Dryad or
Could we
whatever?
get some water for Barry? I see Barry here. So Happy's gonna ask him, could we get a bowl of water for our unicorn?
Harvey will saunter off, and he sort of like hover flights, dragging his talons over to the bar, and he leans over and he says, "Hey man, you got like maybe like a little wooden bowl I could put some water in?" And Torben looks at him and he's like, "I set out a cup for you. Your friend paid for drinks," he says. Harvey looks back and says, "Nah, man, it's not for the beak. It's..." And he cocks his feathered head back, ruffles his wings a bit, and then points with his feathers and his hand to Uni, or Strawberry Shortcake, basically sitting like an awkward little unicorn, reindeer, knock-kneed in this bar seat, and trying to appear as human as possible. And Harvey nods back and says, "It's for the Scoob." So the barkeep fills it up with some water, and Harvey takes flight, attempting to fly with this bowl of water back, and he gently sets the bowl of water down in front of Barry and nods at Chip, and he's like, "I think we're gonna be great uni dads, Chip. It's gonna be awesome." Yeah.
I agree. You guys were born to do this.
Question.
You said a question?
Yeah.
What's up?
Is this the same inn that Harvey and I were in before?
Roll a history check.
I assume there's like one inn in this town.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
No visitors.
So you were more concerned with saving your own skin and the events you experienced in the town. So you can't quite recall the exact name, but the general layout does seem the same. But because of your poor experience in this fiefdom, you don't recall names or faces. So you look around and these people are just as strange to you as they were when you and Harvey first came to the fiefdom of Lycanstone.
Does anyone recognize him?
Jaron?
Uh-huh.
The people in the room are generally not paying attention to anyone. They're kind of depressed and sullen as they, eat their evening meal and enjoy whatever drinks they have and converse among themselves or, sit quietly all together.
Venlee, maybe they need some counseling.
Why would I counsel him?
Because Misty was so good at it.
I'm a monk.
So, as you all get settled at the table, Snickle Fritz wanders his way over and stands at the head of the table next to Avvina. And he says, "Well, guess it's down to business. Everybody's got food and drink. Where do I start? What do you all know so far? Has anybody even told you about this town?"
We don't know much about the specifics. We weren't here very long last time, but we do know about the darkness over the town. But if you could tell us more, that would be great.
And Happy says, and we weren't here before, and everybody just keeps saying that it's gone badly here, but nobody gives any details.
So Snickle Fritz leans into the group and he says, "Some things I'm about to tell you may be true. Some things I'm about to tell you, people don't like to talk about so much."
It all started last year. The town came down with a strange sickness. People, well, I shouldn't say people. The men, boys, 13 and older, all started to get ill.
Mel starts to animate the story. Like little dancing figures up in the air.
I've already
acting it out.
Oh.
I've already lost interest in playing with Uni.
Right? So
Was it all the boys?
and he says, well, not all of them. And he says, we couldn't quite make sense of it, really. But some of them just, well, they went to sleep. They didn't wake up. They're alive, but they're stuck, asleep. And well, after a few weeks like that, eventually their body changed. They developed sores. Skin turned gray. Oozed. Not pleasant. Smelled. Stinky. Also not pleasant. And
Stinky.
he says, well, I've been a druid as long as I've been, well, I don't know, since I was tall enough to reach my dad's waistcoat. And he says, I've studied all sorts of diseases and blights and other ailments, and everything that I've concocted didn't seem to heal or remove this magical sleep. It just got worse. Worse and worse. And then the corpses, they just, I mean, well, you heard it. Eventually, they just fade away, die, rot before us.
Did you try punching him in the face?
Pain doesn't wake them. Smell doesn't wake them. I've even plugged the nose in hopes that not breathing would wake one.
Well, that's a little counterintuitive, but
Have you tried speaking to their
Did you
spirit?
try removing the coat?
Well, that's where things get interesting. You see, after a little while, realizing my medicine wasn't working, I, being the great druid I am, finally landed on a theory. These ailments are not of our world. These ailments are the curse of a hag or some other horrible being. But it reeks of hag.
Isn't that what people say when they don't know?
What?
Did you burn anybody?
What do you mean, burn anybody?
I mean, when things go on that can't be explained, it's like, she's a witch burner! So did you guys burn anybody in retribution?
And he says, well, the last execution we had was the priest. That was 5 years ago.
You burned the priest?
We didn't burn him, we hung him by the neck.
Okay.
Why did you hang the priest?
And when you say that, he leans in real close and whispers, he says, rumor was, the priest was doing unnatural things. Now, I don't quite know what that was. Rumor was digging up bodies.
Did you put a carrot nose on him and see if he floated?
I didn't realize the story was going this direction.
It's a witch hunt.
So the priest,
Avvina
Not a witch hunt.
her head
It does sound like one,
and
doesn't it?
stares at him.
The milk's all curdled. It's got to be a witch.
I think I'm not Catholic.
the priest was executed because he was basically desecrating graves. They caught him in the act of digging up graves.
See, I was thinking something totally different, so I'm glad you clarified that.
No.
So
Well, of course, the town rumoring is that he's, maybe he's necrophilia or whatever. But basically, this priest was screwing around with dead bodies.
Whoa.
That's a strange
So-
term for necromancy.
So
Whoa.
just so we're clear, messing with the graveyard is a capital offense in this town.
That's right.
Okay.
It should
Good
be
to
one
know.
in every town.
Yeah, you don't disturb the dead. And so yeah, he discloses to you that the priest was the last execution in the town, and that was about 5 years ago.
Nickelfoot, before the illness started, did anything strange happen in town? Being violent?
So, Snicklefritz recalls to you that about 6 months before the strange sickness took over the town and caused it to be quarantined by the king, there was an occurrence where a young woman had been assaulted in the alleyway just outside of the market one evening when she was returning home with her goods. And he says to you, well, maybe related, maybe not. Lycanstone's a pretty nice place. But on one particular evening, a couple of drunk, no good ruffians decided to get a little bit too friendly with a young girl that comes into town and sells her wares. Now, folks say that everything was okay and she's all right. But
No
Well-
one is all after that.
No, they can pretend, but they aren't on the inside.
he basically relays to you, he says, well, either way, justice served. The next day they found the two of them in the middle of the town, sitting on the edge of the gallows. Their heads were missing.
And that doesn't strike you as odd?
That's a fair punishment.
Sounds a little unusual, am I right? Or this,
Is this a common
missing
occurrence?
heads was pretty normal?
Who's directed at Nickelfoot?
So Snicklefritz says, well, the mayor looked into it a little bit. The town's guards poked about, but everybody sort of just moved on with life.
I
The town was just okay with two people being murdered?
And
Were
Jaron
they
said,
local people? You said they were drunk. Were they local people or out of towners?
Jaron, Snicklefritz addresses Jaron and Happy and says, locals, troublemakers, ruffians, criminals, thieves.
Will be boys, right?
I have problems with time. You said something about that happened 6 months before kids started getting sick. When did kids start to get sick?
About a year ago.
A year ago. And then
No.
what?
The event with the woman and the ruffians was about 6 months before the sickness took on the town.
Right. So when did the sickness take on the town?
Yeah.
How long has the town been under this blight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Snicklefritz says to you, well, we're losing more by the day, but we've been experiencing this wave of illness for going on about a month now.
Okay. All right. So the illness month, the thing in the street 6 months before that, and then 5 years before that, gravedigger priest gets hanged, and the mayor isn't himself anymore, right?
Correct.
Cool.
Happy has another question. She would like to know if any people who have come in from out of town have gotten sick with.
So he's
asking for a friend.
He says to you, y'all are the first to set foot in Lycanstone since the first body dropped. Nobody in, nobody out.
Once people got sick, did you ever take them out of the town to see if they got better?
So he says that, well, we tried a little bit of everything. Salves, rituals, prayer, healing spells. Nothing seemed to work.
And moving them out of town?
No. Taking them away from the town had no effect.
Okay.
But we did begin burying the dead in the cemetery south of here.
Oh, that sounds good. I have a question.
Yeah.
When the bodies dropped, did they hit the floor? And you didn't try punching them? That didn't wake them up?
No.
Guys, I'm wondering if maybe we shouldn't be camping outside of town. I'm worried about you.
Where's the cemetery?
We should definitely camp out in the woods.
So the cemetery, he says, is
It's outside.
basically the cemetery is a short ride. It's about an hour or two south of the city.
Town is under quarantine, and we're not out back.
Well, yeah, if the town's under quarantine, we're probably not going to be able to leave.
So when you say that, he leans in close and he says, "Sorry we got you in a pickle. But the big guy's right. No one in, no one out. You're here for the long haul."
I bet I could leave.
I bet we could all leave if we wanted to. But so the plan was we don't get to do anything active anywhere. We have to come here and solve the problem in the town first.
Yeah. Well, you were rushed out of Candlekeep and on your way back to the town, and Jaron and Harvey would have had impetus to return here anyway because this ties them directly to the events of the witch, and other than Chip having prior experience with Baba Yaga herself, the two of them would have the biggest sense of urgency to return and help the people and investigate what Snicklefritz and Maitreya suspect be the dealings of a witch.
Well, Mr.
Do you have any
Snicklefritz or
bodies?
Spipel Pitts or whatever your name is, we were at Candlekeep and I was given to understand that we would come here and Maitreya would tell us what was going on, and we don't have Maitreya, and now we find out that we can't leave the town, and I feel like maybe there's been a lack of planning going on.
So he says, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, is there like a page or something that we're supposed to turn again?
He says,
Yeah, like this is like, what the,
I'll start prying up the floorboards.
Start
Not
looking.
stuck in a bush.
Last time we just flipped the ground.
I mean, I think it's
I'll be right back. And Chip gets up and goes and gets 2 more drinks and starts drinking them again.
all
well, I
right.
mean,
Check under the chair.
so if we're stuck here, I guess the first order of business is that if the mayor's not himself, we should probably find out who he is.
So
Were you able to arrange an audience with the mayor for the morning?
Snicklefritz says, well, why don't you all finish your food and fare, and I'll attend to that. And he says, I'll see you bright and early.
Had you tried having a unicorn touch any of these people who turned sick?
And you ask about the unicorn, and he looks
It's a unitorn.
he looks at you and he says, "Huh? Unicorn? What are you talking about?"
Many times they can heal things that other remedies don't. So did you try a unicorn yet?
Expected to have one.
And he says, well, I mean, if you had one, it'd be helpful, I guess, but I mean, we haven't seen a unicorn in these parts for
Do
50 years or
you
so.
not see it at the end of the table?
Please meet Barry. She's young, and I'm not sure that she has all of her magic yet, but
It's
maybe
not
we ought to.
berry, it's strawberry shortcake.
So as the two of you
I'm
all
not going to spew that out every time.
as
It's going to get
as
worse.
the the two of you all talk and reference this unicorn, Snicklefritz takes the hood off of his head and scratches a bald spot on his scalp with some flaking skin. He says,
Ew.
"I'm really starting to doubt Maitreya's choice in adventurers." And he says, I don't know what you're talking about."
Snigglefritz.
Maybe you're not the right person for us to be talking to then.
You can't see the uniform.
That's what I'm thinking. As well.
Sir,
Which is a good thing. But I
Milady?
still think, out of game, I think we need to try it. Yeah.
do you have any of the bodies of the cursed?
He says, he says, there may be one in the church, but the rest of them, they're either alive and still fighting, or buried in the cemetery.
Seeing as digging up bodies is not acceptable currently, I will make my way to the church before I sleep tonight.
All right. So, Matreus, excuse me, Snicklefritz obviously was not able to see Uni, which is strange. For those of you who are curious about that, you all can roll Arcana, or you can roll Perception or Insight, whatever you think would be the best fit. And I'll try
I was gonna say, has he wondered what I've been petting this whole time and like feeding food to?
I got a 16 on my Arcana.
All right.
What's the other one you wanted?
You could do Arcana, Perception, or Insight, whatever works best for you.
Can I give him guidance on
Can
that?
I actually make a check to see if I know of a curse or spell that would do this to people?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me Arcana on that. All right. So Jaron, Happy, Venlee. All right. So.
Yeah, I'm not remotely curious because whether or not people see what I see has always been hit and miss.
Yeah. So.
And I'm still.
Go ahead.
And I'm still petting and feeding Uni, so I don't care if he can see it or not.
Yeah. So, Happy, with your Arcana roll, the best you can surmise is that there is some sort of magical effect on the unicorn that is masking its appearance from Snicklefritz. And whether that's coming from the unicorn or one of you, or if it's just a thing about Snicklefritz that does not allow him to see this creature, you're not quite sure. Jaron, with your 23 perception, you're just looking around and you notice that Snicklefritz genuinely makes eye contact in the areas that's being referred to, but does not see a unicorn there. Venlee, with your insight, you are aware that he's been looking at you curiously as you like hand invisible food in the air and crumbles hit the table, and he's just kind of stumped by why that's happening. Avvina, with your 20 Arcana, as he describes the effects of the strange illness that's befallen the town, you do know immediately that the effects of this illness are magical in nature, and you have suspicion that these illnesses are related to the presence of a demon.
Let's hope it's not the one we carry with us.
Maybe we'll have demon on demon action.
That's
Yeah, that sounds sexy.
out of character. Yes. In character. Why?
I think they usually have territories, don't they?
So, you all are able to finish up your food and fare. Snicklefritz leaves the Manticore Inn and says he'll arrange for a meeting with the mayor of the town the following morning. And you all are set up with rooms courtesy of your friend Avvina, who generously paid for your lodgings. And seeing as you all are the only out-of-towners, and she intimidated the hell out of Lancaster, it seems like you have your pick of the rooms. And this town is going to sort of be like your base of operations, at least at this part of the campaign. So
Hey, can I
go ahead.
Can I do something
Yep.
before we all kind of split up and break up and kind of go off and start doing our own things?
Sure.
I'm gonna go over to Avvina, like the dryad that Avina's got, and I'm gonna like kind of like stumble over and kind of like look at the dryad right in the face and be like, if you're ever in danger or if you feel like she's evil, just blink twice.
And as you address Hannah Raquel,
he literally like looks at her like, you know, kind of like wide-eyed, just like waiting for her to start blinking twice. And after a couple of seconds of maybe like her not, he just like continues to follow Avvina, just like eyeing the back of Avina's head, like is now gonna be the moment when she kills us?
So as you
Such a creep.
as you eye Hannah Raquel, the dryad,
just doesn't trust her.
The dryad eyes you with burning eyes and tilts her head in like a very robotic-looking blank stare.
She's probably already taken.
Yeah.
Probably already taken over her mind already.
So I send a telepathic message to Avvina and I ask her.
You're coming through really low, Jason. You're coming through really soft. I don't know if the mic's very close to you or not.
Sorry.
It's okay. You send a telepathic message to Avvina.
It's okay if we talk like this?
So you're asking for consent to secret talk.
Yes.
For now, what is it that you want?
You think the words, and they send back to Jaron as you've established a telepathic link, at least for the moment.
Can I accompany you to the church?
If you are curious or interested in happenings, then I will not say no.
Okay. Thank you.
She's kind of listening to that, and then as soon as she realizes like what Chip is saying, she's just like pulls Hannah closer like into her cloak and looks him in the eyes. And here I thought you were going to trust me a little bit more.
Stranger danger.
Stranger.
Yeah,
danger.
Is all he says. You can tell that he's like he may have snuck a few more extra drinks in while nobody was looking.
Yeah, the stranger's you.
And he's like walking around with a mug still.
Yeah, as you sauntered upstairs, a few too many drinks in. So, Chip, it seems to me like you might be a little bit stressed knowing that there is the chance of coming close to face-to-face encounter with another witch. Maybe you're dealing with that the only way you know how. The end of a bottle.
Well, also, it's all I can drink at this tavern practically. As long as I don't, like, you know.
You could have gotten the fizzy lemonade. You could have gotten the fizzy lemonade.
No, I didn't know.
It was delicious.
Yes. Agua fresca, baby.
Agua fresca.
Perhaps you sober up. I will give you what I was going to give you.
So you see Avvina look at you, and she seems...
You sober up.
She
And
seems...
he takes a sip off of his cup.
She seems to address you in a slightly tender way, almost as though she's addressing another child, similar to the soft way that she speaks to Hannah.
Well, Chip kind of like looks to the right and like looks to the left. He's like, she's using that mind shit on me.
Chip, you're drunk. Go to bed.
You go to bed.
Chip, are we gonna have to cut you off?
You
Don't
cut
make-
yourself
don't-
off.
Chip, don't make me cut you.
You don't tell me what to do, Mom.
Hey, let's see. Oh, do I have that spell prepared?
Don't make me put you to bed.
I'm gonna cast Lesser Restoration on him.
All right. So you take your finger and you trace a couple of runes in the palm of your hand, and you whisper a few words, and you say, "As once was, be it shall now." And
That's so mean. That is so mean.
instantly, Chip,
So my question to the DM
you
is
feel standing.
an unwilling individual that doesn't want this to happen. What would you say the rolling would have to be for me to like swat
Resist
the
a spell?
hand out of the way? Yeah,
And
like
and would
All right,
simple
so
disadvantage
friendly.
because he's drunk as a skunk work?
So
Or
here-
do you
I-
have
Agree.
yeah.
-5?
assume
So
it would
first,
just be-
first roll me a perception check to see if you even take notice of her
That's
verbal and
annoying.
somatic.
And I think at disadvantage, right? Because he's drunk as a skunk.
Yeah,
That's
go.
one of my better skills at a +3.
Do it.
Can you
Let's
even
see.
resist
Let's let the
it?
dice tell the story.
Okay, critical fail.
All right, so you sway about with your cup, and you've been looking.
I'm gonna burn an inspiration. So
You could burn your inspiration. Do it.
all right. So just to see
Happy
what's
has
coming.
cast prestidigitation and he hears bees buzzing around his head.
God.
So we can't really hear anything else because there's these damn
So-
bees.
I got a 21, so I can actually
Holy
I
crap.
see it. So like I guess like he sways, and like as he sways, like he just briefly like sees the hand coming out, and he like turns and like kind of faces you drunkenly and kind of like burps a little bit and like kind of like pulls back.
I guess
do I
I'll make
need
a
to-
spell attack roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can sort it out that way. And Chip, I'll have you roll a dexterity check for me real quick.
Okay.
Can I give her a helping action?
You can.
Help me?
Oh, yeah. Good luck, Chip.
Trying to help you, Chip. That's the point.
Good luck, Chip.
This is teamwork.
Ooh, Chip is gonna bear growl. He's gonna like ah.
That's okay. So actually, roll intimidation if you're gonna growl. We'll do it that way. So in your drunken state, you notice her start to weave a spell in her hand, and you puff up your chest like any good woodsman facing down a wild animal,
Oh, cool.
and you
got an
growl at
18.
her. Nice.
Okay, so at this point, Jaron steps in between them, and he puts his hand on Chip, and he's like, "Chip, calm down. It's okay. It's not fight amongst yourselves."
And as you say those words, Jaron, Avvina finishes with the last flick of her finger in the palm of her hand as a fiery rune lights up with the last little incanted magical inscription and fizzles out to a little puff of smoke. And when your hand rests on Chip's limp, slightly inebriated form, as the spell takes effect, you notice that he starts to stand tall and strong-backed again. Instantly, the intoxication has been taken.
You
She
feel
turns
better,
and
buddy?
leaves to her room.
So you can
Yeah,
pick
I
a
left
room.
I left about
Biggest room.
2 minutes ago.
All right, so Venlee's found a room. And Chip stands there in the hall with you, Jaron, sober as the day he was born.
I look at
Hey, buddy.
Jaron. I look at Jaron straight in the face and I say, "Huh, the joke's on you. I still have a mug and gold."
So, Happy's gonna go over and talk to the bartender, and she's gonna say, he gets really destructive when he gets drunk, and I don't want to have to pay for furniture again. Can
You're
you
going
just
back
tell him-
downstairs?
I
Yeah, I'm
didn't
gonna go back
up yet.
downstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him that Chip gets drunk and breaks furniture, and so I'm gonna give him 2 gold pieces, and say, "Can you just tell him that you're out of ale for now, and you need to wait for your next shipment?"
He reluctantly nods his head and says, aye, miss, aye.
And there might be more in it for later, but I'm gonna start you off with 2. This is good for both of them. And then Happy's gonna go up and see if she's got a room next to Avvina.
All right. So you all settle in for the evening, and we're going to kind of just go round robin, and everybody let me know what you all would be doing in the Manticore Inn. Sleeping, settling in, enjoying a nice warm bath and evening ritual, leaving, doing other things. Let me know what's up. So,
I think Avvina and I are going to sneak off to the church, right?
I was gonna ask Avvina if Happy could come with her to the church. And also, who's got the unicorn in their room? Does she want to be in mine, or does she want to be with Chip?
Oh, I
I'm
was
just
gonna.
Yeah, she's hanging with me.
Okay,
Fuck
good.
you all.
Well, I was gonna say Venlee. Would Venlee go down to the bar and drink with Chip?
Not right now.
Not
No
anymore.
more alcohol.
Okay.
for you.
There's no more alcohol. But
You don't
Finley, I
really
trust
control
you
that,
because
but
you're
okay.
not drunk. So yeah, look after
How
the
do-
unicorn, and if you need
How do
me,
you know?
For real, I can go anywhere and get any alcohol that I want.
I can
don't
move
need
100 feet at a time, and you'd never even know it.
So true.
well, Vinley, if you go 100 feet at a time to get some alcohol, Chip's not going to be with you, so it wouldn't matter. He's the one that's acting like an idiot. He's drunk. You've never caused a problem.
That's not the point. You just never know that I left. I would have
But I,
stealthed.
well, okay. If you're going to be
It,
stealthing
do-
away
it doesn't
back,
matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It
then
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
maybe
matter.
the unicorn needs to be with somebody else. I think the unicorn
matter.
shouldn't be by herself. She should
No,
be
the unicorn's
with
with
somebody.
me.
Okay,
Unicorn's
cool.
with me.
If you need me to take a turn, let me know. But I think you're a good spot for her.
No, we're chilling.
Okay, cool. If you want me to sneak you some booze later, I'll do that.
I don't need it.
It's all good.
So who else going to the church?
Avvina, is it
Not
okay if
me.
Happy comes too?
yes.
Okay.
So it would
I'm
be
interested.
Jaron, Avvina, and Happy. Avina's going to summon one of her familiars and leave it with Hannah, so she can keep watch.
Okay, and I can leave Bob to keep watch at the end, or I can send him along to scout for us.
I think Mel just follows Happy.
Okay.
So, is anyone staying behind at the Manticore Inn this evening?
Yes.
All right.
And Happy's going to leave Bob, who's in telepathic contact.
Okay.
So that way, if anything goes on, Happy will know about it immediately.
All right. So Chip staying, and who else was staying? Other than the familiars, obviously. Obviously, Harvey staying. Everybody else is going to the church?
No, Venley's staying
Okay, Venlee's staying.
with Uni.
All right. So, here's what we're going to do. For those of you going to the church, we're going to take a quick pause on the scenes involving you and your characters. So for the time being, even though your tokens are on the map, I'm going to ignore their presence here for just a moment, other than the familiars that you left. And for the folks that stayed at the Manticore Inn and settled in for the evening, the night passes onward. Now, mind you, these events are going to be simultaneous to those who are in the church. So,
Ryan,
Go ahead.
I'm laying on the bed, and Venley's at the foot of my bed like a dog would be.
Okay. Time that passes during these occurrences would be equal to what's going to pass with the folks at the church. So you all settle into your rooms for the evening and, find a way to get comfortable, do your nighttime routine. Venlee, you do some, elevated push-ups with your feet on the edge of the bed and narrowly avoiding licks from Uni as she tries to get at your face every time you come up from a push-up.
Oh no, I let her.
Okay. Harvey floats about his room, deducting his next plan for the best sandwich ever. And Jaron, you sit in the room by yourself, contemplating your thoughts.
He went to the church.
Oh, he did go to the church. That's right. Chip sits in a room by himself, unless he's with one of y'all in another room.
I would either be down at the bar trying to get alcohol, and then if I do, then I would be happily regaling people in stories,
Okay.
things that have happened, with Wish, and just kind of telling everything that's been happening to everybody.
All right.
With, the group as of recent, and then I'd go back up to Venlee and kind of check up on Strawberry Shortcake and check up on Venlee, and then kind of knock on Avvina's door and be like, remember, 3 links, and then just go back down to the bar and keep drinking.
So
That's what
when
all of it would consist of?
When you're down at the bar regaling people about the stories of your experience with this witch previously, you actually have the chance to speak with a late arrival, the local butcher, Blaviken Velen. And Blaviken leans on the edge of the bar as you tell the story detailing the events of your encounter with Baba Yaga. And he says,
Well, we know it's a damn witch. Ain't never been any problem in this town till them women showed up. Yeah, that's right. The fairs. They came into town, and everything went south.
And they're called the who?
Fair. You know, like Fairchild, Fair Maiden.
Yeah.
Damn women.
Hey, I got a question for you. Are you gonna finish that beer?
and he says,
If you got another good story, you can have this one and another.
and he slides
Done,
the beer
and I
over to you.
instantly start telling him another story.
All right, so what are you going to tell him about?
I will tell him about how I was walking through the woods and I kind of got sucked through this kind of tree rift and was immediately teleported to this library, and I'll regale him of how I met everyone in the party and just kind of tell him that kind of little story.
How far do you go?
It's about
You are a blabby Kathy.
oh yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
My character
Not like
went,
we're gonna run into anybody suspicious, right?
You didn't tell him how to face?
Yeah, I even tell him, I'm like, yeah, this guy Jaron, and he seems like a really good guy, but there's a lot of dark energy around him. He just I just didn't trust anybody in the beginning, and every time I opened up, I just said the wrong thing. It's just I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I mean, they're all really good people, except for some of them. They're questionable. I mean, friendships could be tested, but I got their back. They're good people. Yeah, just can I have your beer?
So he pushes a beer toward you again,
Yeah, thank you.
listening to your story, and he says, he basically says,
Well, that's incredible you made it out of those woods alive.
and he said,
But you couldn't save your brother?
No. He's like a malformed monster that walks through the forest, and 1 minute you think you're hearing a bird call, the next minute it's my brother.
so when you say a malformed form walking through the forest, Blaviken says,
Neighboring town had a boggle.
Boggles.
roll me a
Boggle?
history check.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, I know what a boggle is, but yeah, how they're tied to witches.
Yeah, you as a player do.
Yeah, and history.
Yep, history.
Flat roll. I don't know shit about boggles.
All right, so you
He'll
know,
say boggle. He'll say boggle, and I'll go, a bottle? You got a bottle of liquor?
I know, and he
All
says,
right, hey.
he says,
No, a boggle.
A
and
boggle.
he says,
Yeah,
he says,
and I suspect there's one here. Anywhere there's a witch, there's one of those slimy little lurching freaks sneaking about.
Hold on, real quick, DM. Would
Yeah.
my character remember? Did I ever run into the boggle?
when you all were in
hammer?
Fistandia's mansion, yeah, you all would have
Yeah.
all seen the boggle.
Okay, so
And
I
it
would
came
know.
out with us to the library.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would know at least what they look like.
You do,
I
yeah.
just don't know anything about it.
About their
Kinda like
dealings.
matching- yeah.
So he explains to you basically, he's like, they sneak about, they collect information, they bring it back to their masters. They can slide through walls. They have a little bit of an ability to read people's thoughts, enter dreams, just mucking things about.
Chip like gets like super close to this guy, and he's like, "They can go through walls."
Oh yeah, lots of creatures from where witches come can jump through things that would normally stop you and I. Physical barriers.
Like,
Oh, this is all gonna go back on me.
I don't understand.
Oh yeah.
So any witch could have one of these devil creatures.
I don't know if all of them have one, but usually they find some poor sap, twist and turn and mutilate them. Turn them into those little slimy freaks.
Hold on. Sorry, I gotta do this. Could you essentially take anyone and turn them into one of these things? Like let's just say there was this girl, okay, that you knew that could be in danger. She was supposed to give you 2 winks, but didn't. But that's another story. But say, for instance, she starts acting weird, like a zombie, okay? And just kind of chew this around, work this around in your brain, and boom! 15 days later, she turns into this ooze thing, and now the bitch has her mind, because it's like this mind control thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly how it happens.
Fuck, I've got to save her.
Being around witches.
Fucking die.
So, Blaviken it entertains your stories a few moments more, and he basically recalls a few more tales, and he tells you, he says, "I'll let you in on some more information.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the young Megan fair for about 6 months now. 10 years before that, her mom died. They live south of Lycanstone, about a hard day's ride, in a little cottage. And they don't really associate with people much, but they bring in their crop and their healing salves, sell them here, or did rather. A long time ago, the mayor had a thing for Megan's mother. Well, you know how a good rumor goes. Whether it's true or not, eventually it grows and grows. Everyone starts believing it. The mayor's wife wasn't too keen on the fact that he had eyes for this other woman. Well, I'm not sure exactly how it all went about, but folks say either the mayor or his wife is responsible. But there was an evening where an old woman came into town, right through the doors of the town hall, and demanded to see him. Stormy night. Woke the guards. I don't know what was said, but I know it's rained harder than hell than it's ever rained before on that evening. The woman went in, and with a flash of lightning and a hideous laugh, disappeared. The mayor won't speak about it, and we haven't seen Megan's mom. Occasionally we see her, but something's not right with the mayor and those women. And he says, well, it's good talking to you. And he finishes up his drink and walks
Can I ask
out.
you one question? Why is there a lot of fornication going on in this town? Like, there's that guy that slept with the corpse, and then there's the jailed people, and then there's y'all just need to go back to farming.
Go back to farming.
Go just cut some trees down, walk in the woods, breathe the air.
So the night presses on. Go ahead.
Apparently, people in Lichtenstein don't understand consent culture.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. I mean, the mayor may or may not have done anything with Megan Fair's mother. This guy just insinuates that the mayor had a crush on her, at least liked her, flirted with her quite a bit.
But Chip's gonna order like 2 more rounds, and then if he can, and then he's gonna head back up to Venlee's room.
So Lancaster hands you 2 more ales, and he says, "Shutting down for the night. Wick's burning low." And he points around at the flickering lights as the oil's burning down, and he needs to replace the wick. So he's kind of signaling that it's bedtime.
Yeah, Bob's gonna come over and like tell him, I'm still here, right?
Why are you coming to my room?
Because you have strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, it's mine.
What? Strawberry shortcake is an independent entity of its own wants and desires and can choose its own friends. You're not in control of that.
Roll for it.
So you come up to you come upstairs, lumbering, intoxicated.
Oh my God, I imagine Chip being like that crackhead that comes up to the doors like, Venlee, I know you're in there. Let me speak to Strawberry Shortcake.
You're like, you go and you knock on the door drunkenly, as Venlee and Strawberry have settled down and fallen asleep.
We've been sleeping for like an hour.
Yeah, dude, you were down at the bar until like the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
You get no response, and you peek in, and you notice the 2 of them asleep peaceful in their room.
I didn't lock my door.
Chip,
People get shot that way, don't
That's right. That's right.
We're like your door's unlocked, and I'm like, "Oop, that's dangerous."
Oops.
I like lock it and just close it.
Oopsies.
On the way out.
So you put yourself to bed, Chip?
Yeah.
All right. So where do you bed down? Pick a room.
Oh, I get to pick a room. I can't see it. Let's see.
You can share my room on the end if you want.
No, I don't want some shadow tentacles.
Chip's gonna snore, right? I mean,
Got the whole upper right, and then the middle.
I know. I don't want to take something from somebody, so.
It doesn't matter. Just throw your token in one.
you weren't gonna throw up in the hall, are you?
Oh, I'll.
He probably already did.
He falls asleep. He falls asleep on the toilet.
That's actually what I was actually gonna do, but now I have to change my mind.
All right.
Like now that you said it, I can't do it because you ruined it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he'll take the big bed.
Porcelain's so cold.
All right. All right. So you
Fall
all
asleep in the bathtub.
bet.
Falls asleep while taking a poop.
All right. So Chip, you lay down and you pull the covers over your shoulder and lay on your side, and you sit with your eyes wide, basically super tired, like the kid that stayed up too late at sleepover. And the beer has gotten to you, the stories have gotten to you, and the memories have gotten to you. And you rub your tired eyes and try to quiet your mind to fall asleep. And as you do, feel like you're starting to drift off down the hall from your room. Though you're not initially sure of what direction, you hear a wet sound of feet as they waddle across the floor, slapping against the wood.
Okay. So is this like an hour into like me kind of like resting, or is this like as I'm like finally?
Yeah, like literally as you're drifting off and your eyes are too heavy to keep open, you hear this noise break.
I'll get up and I'll like look around my room. Do I see anything?
All right, so first of all, you get up, and as you do, Venlee, I also need you to roll me a perception check with disadvantage. I know you're in a trance, but
I'm gonna get attacked.
so you sit up in your bed and you look around your room, And I need you to roll me a perception check.
How much time has passed since we left?
So 24.
All right, excellent. So, Venlee, the strange sound that Chip heard actually ran past your room and the hallway of the wall adjacent to the headboard of the bed. So you hear this obnoxious, wet, flapping sound of feet trudging along the hallway, racing from east to west. Chip, when you look around your room, you don't notice anything initially, but your eyes catch a desk and a bed in the adjacent corner that are faintly lit by the moonlight peeking in through the window. And on the desk and the bed, catching the light of the moon, is a shining substance.
Wait, and whose room?
In Chip's room. So right here on the table and right here on the bed is something that's shining in the moonlight. And Venlee, you've been roused by the sound of this obnoxious flip-flap running down the hall.
So Chip kind of starts to stir, and he kind of sits up and he says, "Alexa, bedroom lights on." And he kind of like looks around and he's like, "Oh, that didn't work." Okay. And then he kind of like, I guess, where's like a candle like on the desk over here?
Yeah. So you slide over to the edge of the bed and put your feet, your knees over the edge. You're just wearing your boots and your dressing gown right now. And so
I don't wear armor, so I mean I'm wearing my usuals.
You've got I was gonna
my belt on, I guess.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Ashley needs me to turn off some lights so little one
Family
can sleep.
first?
Yeah, give me 1 second, guys.
Family first.
Yep.
Let's see, I could light a torch, but that'd be really stupid in a bedroom.
All these witch rumors and all this stuff is just
Oh, I know. It's like he might as well be watching American Horror Story before he...
I like how he wants me to. He's like,
yes.
"Oh, this person ran by your room, and are you gonna do anything?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't know. Maybe I might just go to bed, go back
I wonder
to
how
sleep."
much time has passed because
Well, he said already like an hour.
Okay, an hour.
Yeah.
No, he said like an hour.
Okay.
Because like I've been drinking and then kind of waddled off into the bedroom, and Venlee had been asleep.
So maybe like 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, we could say like an hour and a half or something. Like
We'll
the
see.
two.
It's a
Doesn't matter.
timey-wimey sort of an adventure.
Wibbly wobbly. Yeah.
Doesn't matter to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
All right, folks, I'm back.
It's just that my fire spirit only lasts 3 hours. So
Time is more of a construct created by our physical minds.
Oh Jesus, God! All right.
Umami! Umami!
All right, guys, I'm back.
Oh.
So let's get it going because I want to get you all somewhere cool. So,
Real quick question.
yep, what's up?
I know I'm not there, but we left two familiars there. Do they detect anything?
my fire spirit is there as well.
Yeah, I will say you guys can have your familiars roll for any kind of perception.
Okay. You want just with our perception?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so Chip, you swing your legs over the edge of the bed and you stand up.
8 for Bob.
Okay. You stand up cautiously, putting your hands on your knees, creaking forward as you come to a full posture. You look around suspiciously in the room, and you see faintly on the desk a small hand candle and tray. And you strike it with a match in a drawer and are able to bring some light to the room. And as you look at the desk and on the bed, you see on the desk a purple, glittering, slimy trail. And on the bed, 2 strange footprints. And along the wall, over to the window, purple slime trail. And then on the edges of the window for your room, you see handprints and fingers.
Gross.
He's gonna rub his eyes, and he's gonna like go over to the window and kind of like rub his fingers in it, and kind of like, you know, like how you like rub the oil between your fingers and be like, what the fuck?
So you
Oh
go.
no, he's fully involved in all up in that shit.
So
Then he
you,
rubs his eyes.
yeah, right,
He's then gonna lick it.
And then he tastes it. Yeah.
yeah.
Tastes like.
So you,
Oil.
no, we'll play with it. We'll play with it. So you go and you touch the oil on the sides of the windowsill and inspect it, and you notice the first thing is that the window is latched and locked. As you swirl the oil about your index finger and your thumb, you notice it is slightly slippery but has a stick to it. It's like once it's on your skin, it's hard to move it off. You take it to your nose to smell it, and it smells putrid, like sewage. And at this point, I'm not going to make you taste it because you smelled it and it would have turned you off by then. As you try to get the oil off your fingers, you notice that it's too sticky, and you take your hand and you reach down to the bed where the edge of this quilt or cover lays, and you just try to kind of hide it behind where it tucks into the wall, embarrassedly, and just like wipe it off like the poo on your hand.
Like the worst hotel person ever.
You're like, oh, ew, let's get it off my hand. All right, so let's see. Let me go back to our perception. So Avvina, Avvina, Bob, and I think that's the only other familiars. Yeah, the fire spirit would have been a part of it. Okay, so yeah, your familiars take notice of the sound. Let me cut to Venlee real quick. Venlee, what are you doing as you've been roused awake by this weird pitter-patter flapping down the hallway?
I'm annoyed, and I'll go up to the door and like I'm staying in a crappy motel. Like just kind of pet Uni and just go like, just stay here, I'll take care of this. And I'll peek my head out the door and just see if I can find anybody.
All right,
I hate when that happens at a hotel.
So you literally like lean your body around the edge of the doorway, looking up and down the hall.
Yeah.
And with your perception, I'll just go off the previous alert from the sound. You look down the hallway and you see a purple slime trail inconsistently skating its way westward down the hallway past Chip's room.
Eastward or westward?
Westward. Oh, excuse me, eastward. My bad.
Yeah.
Directions, elementary, not so much.
So towards like downstairs?
Yeah, over towards the stairs and where the token for Mel is, even though he's not here right now.
I guess I'll go check on Chip real quick. Just poke my head in and go, hey, do you see this purple crap?
So
and go, Uni, come here.
So you move. You move over to the corner of Chip's doorway and poke in and address him.
Yeah, and I just go, hey, do you see this? There's like a purple trail. You want to go check this out?
Yeah. It's really. Yeah.
Like, he's still drunk again.
Well, and he like reaches over and grabs a cup and takes a big old swig. He's like, no.
All right, well, I got it then. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm coming with you. You're not stopping me.
I'll go ahead and take off towards the.
Did you? As he's like, I'm like, hey, slow down, let me get my pants on.
All right, so Chip, you pull your overalls up and tuck your dressing gown back down into your overalls. So it's kind of like one of those little 18th century nightgowns with the U shape cut out around the hips. And it's the really long shirt with the little fringe ties around the neck. And so you bound for the door in pursuit of Venlee and Uni as they walk eastward down the hallway towards the stairs. Our familiars can jump in. So Bob is attending to your room. He just floats about and occupies his own time like any good self-actualizing animated spellbook would, by taking the scrolls from your bag, and as he can, he inscribes the scrolls into the pages of his book. So he's
my magic quill.
Yeah, so he's copying
2 minutes per level. Yeah.
He's copying the spells down. So I'm gonna say roll me a D20, and that's how many minutes he'd been scribing a spell, and I'll tell you whether or not you were able to successfully put one in your book permanently without
Okay.
the use.
That's hilarious.
Because my quill does 2 minutes per level.
Okay.
Because it's a special quill.
That's so great.
And I'll pause for that while you're rolling. Avvina.
That was a 6. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So he was writing for 6 minutes. So whatever that equates to would
3
be
levels. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the items that you took from Fistandia's mansion, if it's a spell scroll that matches that description, then he can inscribe it permanently into his book.
Okay.
And so, Avvina, you left Hannah the Dryad laying on your bed, resting, being watched over by your Wicker Man fire spirit that moves about the room like a sentry, watching the windows and listening at the door. And the sound alerts Hannah and disturbs her sleep and immediately causes your fire spirit to move from the window to the doorway. And because it really can't actuate the handle of the door, it sort of bumps into the door, indicating that it's trying to get out in the hall, but the doorway is closed.
There's also an owl sitting there.
Oh, geez. Lots of pets. So what are they doing?
I mean, I suppose the owl would just, like, flutter over to Hannah and, like, keep watch, but also, like, try and calm her down.
Would you say he moved from the window to the wall?
Yes. And with a perception check, he'd see purple sweat dripping down the wall.
Yikes.
All up in my mouth. What?
Redonkulous. All right, so Venlee and Chip, you make your way into the hallway. Go ahead and move your tokens where you would get to.
I guess I'd try. And is Harvey there still, or did he?
Harvey is asleep in his room, and I'm going to say that he's just so blitzed that he did not take notice.
Okay. I'll try and make it down to the, at least the stairway.
All right, so as you make it to the stairwell...
I'll go with him.
As you make it to the stairwell, you look at the edges of the stair, and you see on the banister the purple, slimy handprints. And on the wall across from the stairwell right here, you see a strange, small humanoid outline of slime.
Okay. Is there slime going downstairs?
No.
Weird.
Chip, as you come up behind Uni, and
I'll step over to the side when I'll kind of move over.
Uni follows behind your heel.
Yeah.
And Chip, you make your way up just in a few moments, and you see Venlee step aside. And when you do, you notice that in front of you on the banister are 2 purple, slimy handprints, and against the wall is a small humanoid shape made in slime.
Where at?
Literally, here. So essentially, whatever this thing...
Going down the steps.
No, literally, splat into the wall.
Oh, so it literally ran through the wall.
Yeah, it vaulted this banister and didn't even bother with going down the stairs, and it literally vaulted itself into the adjacent outer wall of this.
Like an Acme cartoon.
A parkour move.
But Chip literally walks up to the wall and just wipes the sludge and is just looks at it as that's so cool.
And as if you didn't learn before, you've learned once again that this slime smells like poop. And you have it all over your hand, and it's super sticky. And without having bedclothes nearby to wipe it off on...
Gives it a great, good whiff.
Without being near a set of bedclothes to wipe it off on, the only choice would be to smear it further down the wall on a clean spot, or to wipe it off on your own clothes.
At the unicorn.
Yeah, wipe it on the unicorn.
So you go to poop.
Unicorn's over here.
Not again!
Over here.
No.
You go to bestow the poo touch onto the unicorn, and she recoils and snorts at you.
First. You gotta go through me first.
All right, so you two have just encountered this strange thing, this weird purple slime trail, and this noise that's roused you from sleep. What are you guys gonna do?
I mean,
He's the one who touched it, so I don't know. Does he have any?
Still be here. I mean,
Can I make a? Oh, jeez, I don't have a good. Can I make an investigation check to see if he
Do
like,
it.
whipped through the wall?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, that's all about the only thing I have good. I'll probably roll like garbage. Okay, well, 16.
Yeah, okay. So with your 16 investigation, you walk around, Chip, and you go down the first couple steps in a flight of stairs that leads down to the common room in the tavern, and you look at the wall closely, and you immediately are able to put together that the only way such a perfect outline of this could be left is if whatever it was passed straight through the wall and left some of itself behind.
Huh. I want to punch the wall.
So go ahead and make an attack check. No, that's fine.
I don't know. Let's see if I can. And I'll do it. I'll just do it with a. I'll just do it with an unarmed strike, but
Go
it's
for it.
magical, so that should matter.
Go for it.
So the first one's gonna be. The first one's a natural one.
You go to punch the wall and you stumble a little bit as you try to make an aim because you're trying to punch above where you stand. You're a little short, so like the space where this weird thing is about 3 feet above where you are. So it makes sense. You stumble forward and try to hit. Your second one hits, and your fist just slams into the stucco and plaster and burst through the little wooden planks that make up the outer wall, and you punch straight into the insulation, the hay and moss that's been stuffed in between, and your fist easily pushes through the plaster outer wall. And as you withdraw your hand, you look through and see out into the darkness. It's nighttime, and you can see across from the tavern and Manticore Inn a market stall and a lean-to for a neighboring home or business.
When you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. When you're a monk, every problem looks like somebody's stupid face.
I was gonna say I don't see
Face
it. I don't see
puncher.
anything there. I don't see anything there.
When
it
you
just looks
all
like
right,
outside.
So when you put your face to the hole to look through closer, you notice a slime trail on the roof and the outline of little webbed feet.
Oh, is there a picture hanging on the wall right there?
No.
Damn it.
Oh, you're talking about nearby?
Yeah.
There's pictures nearby, but not on the stairwell.
No, I want to like cover up the hole that I punched in the side of this place.
I mean,
Doesn't want to pay for damage.
yeah, you could rob a picture from another room or like repurpose a nail in a picture from a wall somewhere else.
We'll just say I did that.
All right,
We'll just say I
yeah.
did
So
that.
you sneak past Chip and you go over here between the bath stalls and you take this like obnoxious like urban decor picture of like ducks in a pond and pull it off the wall, and with your key energy you just palm strike the nail into the wall and hang the picture over the hole that you punched through the tavern wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have done this before. I can't.
At what point does the rest of the party get back?
In just a moment.
Oh yeah, well I mean we're done. That's all I'm gonna do. I'll tell Chip. I was like, there's footprints upstairs. I think it came in your window and then somehow went out of here.
Chip, what do you got to say to that?
Because I mean with the slime trail and all that stuff.
I'm basically just gonna say like, let's keep an eye out and just kind of monitor what's going on. I don't really have anything else for us to do, so let's just, Well, I don't understand why she'd be after me besides everything else that has happened, so. Is it okay if I hang out with you for a little bit?
Yeah.
Hey, Homebrew. What's up, Berserking? All right, so you guys,
We'll go back to like one of our rooms and hang
yeah,
out.
you guys discuss how to proceed forward.
My room's bigger. It's got like more chairs and shit. So
Right.
and another bed.
So that takes us to the outside of the church as the sun begins to set over the town. Oops, I accidentally put a chip token that doesn't need to be there, but whatever. And you approach a little graveyard out front and walk through the garden gates to the front doors of this quaint little church in the fiefdom of Lycanstone.
Anybody there?
Yeah, you guys are there. Or what are you asking?
Is
Well,
there
they
anyone
hung the
at front?
priest, right?
So,
Is there anyone in the church?
I mean, right now you're standing outside of the church. I mean, is someone going inside?
I'm saying, is there anyone around, like outside the church?
No. As you've walked about the town, the people in the market square have all cleared out for the most part, save one or two people that hangs out on the, outsides of a building talking or sitting on their porch or whatever. And as you made your way through the city streets and hung a left outside of the market to head in the direction of the church following the steeple you could see, in the skyline above the other buildings, there's no one standing outside of the church or around the grounds.
I'm gonna cast Divine Sense on the church.
Okay.
Do I pick up anything?
What does your spell allow you to detect?
Bad things.
Huh? You said bad things?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up because it's not a spell. It's a passive ability.
Yeah.
It's not in my spell list.
Do we see any lights on in the church?
I can detect good and evil. You can sense anything affected by the Howler spell, or know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Okay, that's fine. So you said you can sense good or evil?
Yes.
All right, so with your divine sense, you immediately, your skin prickles up and the hair on your arm stands as the power of the divine energy channels through you, alerting you to a great presence of evil about this church. Happy, answering your question, there is a dim light flickering inside the church building.
And I mean, Avvina is standing right in front of you.
That's true as well.
But he's cast it before, and this is different.
Yeah, so
Right, Mel?
I let the rest of the people know that I sense evil coming from the church.
Okay, let's be careful, folks.
You guys want to go inside?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
there's evil in there.
we need to find out what's going on.
Okay.
I didn't before, but now, yeah.
I like how we still haven't learned to not split the party.
It's all good. So what are you guys doing? You stand at the front of the doors of the church.
I think we decided to go in, right?
So describe to me what you're doing. How are you going in? What's your interaction?
So
You're at the closed doors of a church.
Oh, there we go.
So I go up to the doors and I use my strength.
Allow me to do something.
Okay.
Are all of the windows actual windows, or is there holes or anything like a raven or something could potentially?
Yeah, I mean, these are just like little open arrow slit type openings, and then this is a stained glass window.
Okay. She's going to tap her staff on the ground, and the two raven like they look almost like they're made of charcoal and feathers and embers. They like peel themselves away from her staff and they fly through those to arrow slits as she casts Flock of Familiars.
Okay, and what does that do for her?
Basically, it allows her to have 2 additional familiars while her one is still there,
Okay.
back at the other one. But they do not have the same. She can still peer through them like they were a familiar, but they only last a certain amount of time, and they're not.
Okay.
They're not infinite.
So what are you doing with the familiar? You're sending one through the arrow slit?
I'm sending one around the building and one through the arrow slit to see what's inside.
All right. So the first one that goes into the arrow slit, it hops up like a crow would and perches on the sill of the stonework and jumps in, and it arrives in a breezeway or vestibule entrance to the church with a pair of closed wooden doors in front of it, much like the closed wooden doors in front of you. The other familiar that flies around the back of the church is not able to find an entrance, but does see 2 additional porthole-like stained glass windows at the rear of the church, and looks in and sees a weary man sitting at the altar, or on his knees, with his hands folded together in prayer, and eyes closed, and a fervent, furrowed brow. And this person seems to be whispering to themselves, but the familiar cannot quite make out what it's saying.
I'm gonna put my hand on Jaron's just like pauldron for a second and peer through its eyes to see. Because if I get like a sense that it sees something, then I'm going to close my eyes and open them, and they're like black, and then I'm seeing through the raven's eyes now. So
Alright.
hopefully,
Does he allow you to do that?
Yeah.
No, I heard stop, but I didn't push open the doors.
So you try to push open the door, Jaron?
I didn't push open.
Okay. All right.
She asked him not to.
Gotcha.
She's like,
So you basically kind of trance out for a minute, looking through the sources of your familiars, and hold on to Jaron to steady your balance. What are you guys gonna do?
Does she see anything?
She just saw what I described: the man at the church altar, and then the empty foyer that's locked on the inside and the outside.
can I hear? Do I understand what the man is saying?
No, it's basically like he's whispering under his breath, a quiet
Okay.
prayer to himself. The only thing that the familiar could deduce that you would be able to hear is that he's speaking common.
Did
Okay.
Jaron pick up anything with the telepathy?
How far is the range on your telepathy? Big? Yeah, it would be big enough to get in on this guy. So with your telepathy, you start to hear the jumbled thoughts of the man of a male human, and the thoughts basically string through repeated mantras of prayer, and they say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Forgive me. Forgive the people of this town." And then you say, "Remove this curse. I beseech you. Please have mercy on us." And it just kind of repeats another string of additional prayers.
So I'll wait for Avvina to come to.
As the familiars like fly back to her shoulders, she takes her hand off your pauldron and blinks.
And I tell them that there's a really creepy dude praying inside, looking for absolution.
Let us interrupt him then.
Sounds good to me.
do we want to go in the front or the back?
Well, there's no way in through the back.
Okay. Yeah, let's go in. If it gets too hairy, though, guys, let's back out.
Fair enough.
Since
This is
we split the
agreeable.
party, but let's recon this. Yeah.
Can I push the doors open?
So yeah, you go ahead, roll me a strength check.
athletics check or a strength check?
Strength or athletics, but either way, whatever is better for you.
Athletics.
And as soon as he finishes with the door, I'm going to put guidance on him for whatever happens next.
I have guidance.
Oh,
I'll cast guidance.
guide yourself.
All right, that's fine.
Then I'll guide myself, yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna add a D4 to that.
All right, that's fine.
Because somehow over 3. Okay, so 18.
So
18 is not that-
you push against this wooden door and lean into it with your full plate armored form, and you can hear the hinges creak and stress being placed on the locking mechanism that bars your entry at the midpoint where these two church doors meet. It creaks and strains and eventually gives way as you basically splinter the lock from the small spot that it's drilled into at the seam of the door, and the left side swings open and clatters against the wall. You stumble a bit forward, not expecting the door to cave quite quickly under your weight, and the right side door seems to still be locked in place by a series of pins that hold it into the door frame at the ceiling and the floor. So, kind of like any good church, you gotta pull those little locking pins to open the double doors.
So I have 1 level of artificer, so I have proficiency with thieves' tools.
Okay.
I'm moving to you call it a vestibule?
So you move into the vestibule, and Happy, you move forward to inspect and just shake your head at the simple nature of the lock and the fact that Jaron broke the door.
Yeah, so guys, let me pick it. If it's barred with something wooden, we got to break it. But if it's a lock, I can probably get it.
If you want to pick the next lock, be my guest.
Yeah.
I could perhaps
roll the
assist.
22 for this one, yeah.
All right.
I mean, we could knock.
So you hear Mel outside of the church say, "Hey, we can knock." That's the first sensible thing he said. And you all take notice.
There's something super evil going on in the church. I'm not sure that we want that.
Honestly, people just usually barge in.
Yes!
Fair
We do, don't
fair
we?
assessment, Avvina. You people just barge in.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, Abby, do you want to pick the next one?
I think that's the name of the episode right there.
You people just barge in. So, Happy, you step forward and you take your thieves' tools out of your side pouch and you flick them open skillfully, sending the pins and other tools for manipulating the tumbler that you don't need swinging over the key ring that holds them off to the other side, where you clasp them in your palm and you articulate just the right tool and tumbler into the lock. And go ahead and roll your check for me.
Oh, roll another one?
Sorry, you already did. Never mind. I see it in the chat.
22. Was that enough?
Yeah, perfect. So with ease, you turn this lock quietly, and you feel the handle go limp underneath your hand. It's like one of those, L-shaped handles, not a knob. And so the lock has been undone, and the door will open freely.
Shall we go?
Perhaps I'll give him.
Without everyone.
Avvina, did you say?
Oh, I'm just saying, perhaps if he is agreeable, I can give him one of these coins that I have. They seem to be worth quite a bit here.
Okay.
As
I
you-
think they haven't had a lot of money coming into this town.
So you fist forward a handful of coins you grab out of the bottom of your bag, along with some fuzz and hair that you've pulled out of a brush, and just some lint, and they all kind of nod and agree. So you
We're not in initiative yet, right?
no.
I'm gonna cast West from the 3 of us.
Okay.
There's
As add D4 any attack or saving throw.
All right. So you take a moment and you make some hand signs across your armor and take your fist and clap it against your chest quietly, and you say a quick prayer and invoke bless. So who's walking through the door?
I'll go first.
All right. So Jaron, you push the door open and you walk into the church.
Happy,
so
perhaps
excited
stay
to see
behind.
what's in there.
Do you want me to stay behind and watch the door?
Just stay behind me.
Okay, fair enough. And Mel, you want to stay behind me?
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys make your way into the opening of the church sanctuary. I don't know why it's...
I'm waiting till you defog it.
I was trying to reveal...
Oh,
reveal all.
Void is getting larger.
There we go. Sorry. All right. So you make your way into the sanctuary for the actual church itself. And as you push the door open and walk in, you see this man at the altar, and he stands up alerted to you, and he says, "What? How did you get in here?"
Who are you?
he broke the door.
He looks down at you and says, "I'm not required to give you my name. Why are you in the church? The doors were locked. It's the early hours of the evening."
I just said he broke the door.
I'm a paladin.
Would you like this
I'm
in
one of my
return?
life in church.
So do you walk forward to give him coin?
She just kind of steps forward. If this will suffice, may fix your luck.
So you dribble these coins down onto the floor in front of the altar, and the man walks around the edges and down the stairs and gets down on his hands and knees and starts plucking the coins up, and he gathers them in his hand, and he walks over to a bowl sitting on the top of the altar, and he tosses the coins into that bowl.
So, Jaron repeats what he said. So, who are you? And why are you chilling in the church?
When you ask who he is, he says, "You know, I could call the town guard and have you arrested."
Let's restart.
It's annoying. I can do a persuasion check.
All right, go for it.
Actually, you know what? I'll do an intimidation.
Go for it.
I feel like there's gonna be a circular conversation.
Do we see the dead body that we came here to look for?
It will not be a circular conversation.
What are you doing here? What
All
are
right.
you doing here?
So,
What are you doing here?
Jaron, your presence intimidates this man as he finally gives in, and he turns around from the offering bowl and he says, "My name's Honesty. I'm the priest.
Fitting.
And you are?"
I would travel here to help the town.
And he says, "Well, it's a good thing too. We've been on lockdown for the past 8 months."
Yeah, Drinkle Fisk sent for us to come and try and help with your problem. We
Drink-
heard that there might be one of the dead who had passed here in the church before it goes to the cemetery. Do you have any here?
Honesty is aghast by your knowledge of the dead being in the church, and he says, "Who told you that?"
Does it matter? Is there anyone here?
"Well, there's one being embalmed and prepared for burial. I'm keeping them in the crypt, the basement under the church."
Can we see him, please?
Roll me
Can't help
a
if you hide
persuasion check.
everything.
Roll a persuasion.
Please, perhaps we should calm down.
All right.
24.
So with your 24, you make your case to Honesty Believer, the priest of the local church, and ask to see the body that he's keeping in the basement. And he reluctantly leads you underneath of the altar. There's basically a set of stairs that opens up here and winds their way around in a similar U shape. I don't have a map, there really is none, and we won't really need one. But just theater of the mind, this room in general space would be about the size of the basement underneath of the church. And here is some crude embalming equipment and a table with a body laid out on it and a sheet pulled over top for, modesty. And he says, well, there he is.
Again, quick question. His name is Honesty Believer?
His name is Honesty Believer.
Oh,
Do we want to
Sir.
do insight on that?
Honestly, do you believe
yeah,
her?
I'll let Avvina listen.
That's a 17 insight on whether that's actually his name.
That is his name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a cheesy ass name I came up with.
Oh, I love it.
Honesty.
So, what do we need to run checks on to?
So looking at the body, you would need to roll a medicine check to inspect the corpse. And Avvina, what were you saying to Honesty?
Honesty, perhaps. We've been a bit tense. We sensed something very off on our way here within the church.
What do you mean off?
I mean, there's a strong presence that my friend here sensed that is, well, evil for all intents and purposes.
When you say that there's a presence of evil in the church, Honesty kind of nods at you in agreement silently, and he clasps his hands together over an amulet and brings it to his lips to give it a kiss, and he says, I haven't been here long. They executed the previous priest, but the stain of blood from that man and the evils of this town have yet to be washed away. Everything I do, my best efforts. The people here are still sick. My prayers go unanswered. Something's wicked about this place. If you're sensing evil from the church, it doesn't surprise me, though I'm not sure from where.
We're here to try to help you. Anything that you can tell us would be useful.
Well, what do you not know? I mean, clearly, if you've spent a little bit of time, you must have heard our town has been quarantined, and the men are dying at random. As young as 13, they come down with a strange sickness that puts them to sleep, and then they decay right before our eyes. Skin turns gray and oozes an unpleasant, weeping, vile humor.
Okay, we've heard the description.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is there anything else that you can tell us about how the men come down with the disease?
No.
I noticed that you're not diseased.
Well, that's just the thing. We haven't been able to determine how people get it, who gets it or why, and what the route of transmission is. But nonetheless, men get sick and die. Men and boys, no women.
This is similar to something
So
I've
there's my
encountered
18
before.
check on anything on the body.
So with your 18, hold on one sec, I'll get to you. And what did you say, Avvina? You were asking a question?
This is similar to things I have encountered before. Perhaps what you need is a touch that's a little less divine, since those prayers go unanswered.
The priest cocks his head and eyes you with a strange, confused look, and he says, well, if you mean relying on any means other than the good one, I'm not sure I could agree with you, but I would welcome any help.
Yeah, but really believe in the black and white definition of the good and evil. Wait, right.
So with your 18 medicine, Jaron, as you look over the body, you pull the sheet down and look at the face, and the face of this man looks like it's frozen in terror. The brow is furrowed, the eyes are winced and closed shut, and the jaw clenched, so much so that where the joints of the jaw meet to the corner of the skull, it's protruding and bruised, as though they had been clenching and gritting their teeth in their sleep. The hands are clenched tight, white-knuckled, and so much so that there's dried blood on the palms of the hands where they've literally dug nails into their own skin. The feet are arched down, and the legs are twisted in weird directions, and the back arches forward at the shoulders down to the navel, and the neck against the embalming table, and the head is sort of turned to the side and twisted. Basically, it looks like this person almost is suffering some sort of weird, terrible seizure. They froze up in their sleep, and they died in this position.
So I moved into Avvina and I asked her to check out the body as well.
I have something that I wanted to try.
Yeah, go ahead.
I look at Honesty, and my eyes.
I'll deal with it.
If you allow me, I would like to communicate with the body.
Honesty says, "Oh, be my guest. This place is protected, so whatever your magic is, I'm safe." And he confidently taps his chest.
Jared laughed hard.
I'm sure. She will hold her hand over the head of the body, and she will tap her staff once on the whatever plinth it's laying against.
Okay.
And she will cast Speak with Dead.
All right.
And fire begins to it's like fire begins to emulate from its mouth and eyes.
So this male figure that lays naked before you in this twisted, rigged position comes to life for a brief moment, arching its back and unclenching its fist in a spiderly-like, spindling way. And you see these flames that lick about its skin without burning the flesh, and swirling flames enter the eyes, and the mouth opens up, and this glowing bright flame can be seen in the space where the teeth and the tongue are, and it says,
What was that?
It's just making a noise. It's basically trying to figure out how it's breathed to life, or whatever magical effect has summoned its spirit back to speak. So it's kind of waiting on you.
Be still. I would like to ask you some questions, and then I will let you rest.
It kind of sways back and forth, and then nods its head, and it says, "Yes."
She will look to Happy and Jaron with her hand still over the body. Well, what information do we want?
Jared, were you a good, godly person in your life?
So Jaron's asking the dead body if it was a good, godly person in life. The body winces when you say good and godly, and the voice echoes out of it with a hallowed voice, and it says, "Evil! Evil as the day I was born!"
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Avvina, can you ask him if he knows where the curse came from?
I don't believe so, but I will
Okay.
Do you know what has befallen you, and why?
When you ask it what has befallen you, it cranes its neck and cracks the bone and spins its head around, twisting the windpipe to the point where the skin is stretched, almost like it's going to pop its own head off. The hands reach back up, grab at its jaws, and twist, and then the eyes and the head slowly fix on the two of you as it's laying on its back with its elbows supporting it arched in a very strange crab-like manner. And the mouth limps open and sags. The hand reaches and snaps it back into position. And it says, the she-beast of the night. She lays with the men. She devours their souls. And then they receive its kiss. And when he says its kiss, he takes his hands and wrings the head and continues to twist and writhe, and then literally rips his own head from his shoulders.
She will release the spell since it's...
Since he can't touch people.
Well, it technically can.
Yeah, it's a spirit that's speaking through the corpse,
Yeah.
so it could speak even though it's beheaded.
Let me look at the spell real quick. I need to know how many questions I actually do have.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
If everyone's okay, I'll ask the head one more question.
Well, and let's see, because I don't think Avvina's had a question.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to get Mel in here too because he came
I
along.
think it's like 3 or 4 questions. Can't remember.
There it is.
If we ask 3.
Hey, it is 10
5
to 1,
questions. Up to 5 questions.
All right.
and I'm gonna have to get going here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end of the stream, so let's try to move this part along. But do you have any other questions you want to ask it?
You say the she-beast.
Yeah.
Do you know its name?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, can he
When you ask for its name, the head in its own hands, jaw tips forward, and it speaks in Abyssal, and it says to you and to Jaron, since you all understand Abyssal, I will whisper it. And I'll whisper it to Jaron as well.
I have comprehend languages.
Oh, you do? Okay. So then you would also hear it.
just tell everyone what it says? Well, you can just say it, because I'm going to tell it.
So it says in Abyssal the word succubus.
Fun.
That explains a lot.
Here. That would explain what's going on in this town.
Mel, would you like to ask a question?
I don't know. I guess the only question I have still is, if the mayor isn't the mayor, who's the mayor?
That's why we have a meeting with him.
Maybe
What do you know of the
knows.
mayor?
When you ask the male the question about the mayor, it's a little bit vague, and he just confusedly responds, and he says, "Worked for the mayor. Did his wet work."
What?
Worked for the mayor, did his wet work.
Oh, this guy was the mayor's hitman?
Yeah.
Oh, the mayor of this town has a hitman. That's cool. Okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do you know where she went when she left you?
I think we hit.
Oh, that's 5 there.
Yeah, the
Is
undead.
there 5? Is that 5? Okay.
Well, either way, I'll give you this one. The undead basically doesn't know.
Okay.
He says, in through my window, into my dreams, gone.
Then may you rest in whichever afterlife you belong.
And as you release the spell, you hear it cry out, "Ah!" And then it creaks, and the head rolls off the plinth and tumbles to the ground at your feet. In the corner, you see Honesty cowering, sitting down with hugging his knees as he witnesses this terrible event of you casting this unholy spell to speak with the dead.
Jaron looks at him and he's like, "So do you still believe that God will protect you from everything?"
Let's not debate philosophy, Jaron. We still got to go to bed sometime.
Honesty stands up and he says, "I still do. As a matter of fact, I do. And this only further charges me. There's evil here, and we must be rid of it."
Then I will help you be rid of it, for that is our goal. But for now, I believe it is late and I must go back to my daughter.
So you turn
have a good
and
evening.
you excuse yourself from the cellar and walk your way back up the stairs into the main sanctuary of the small church and out the doors, ignoring your party altogether, your mission accomplished, and you just confidently strode back to the Manticore.
Mhm.
Jaron goes back to well.
All right. So we're going to say, unless Mel or Happy had anything else they wanted to do.
Not really.
No, when we went back, I was going to see if Mel wanted to share my room or if he wanted his own room, because I kind of wanted to watch us back with all the weirdness going on. And I'm going to stay up for a little bit and look at my tome and probably finish off that second spell.
So here's the thing. By the time you all arrive back to the inn, it's about 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning. The priest lives in the church, so he was up sweating and freaking out and, just feeling this great weight and guilt, praying. And, you all went out in the late and wee hours of the morning and barged in on this
We went
man.
out at dusk. You said the sun was just going down.
No, when everybody went upstairs, it was nighttime. Like you guys were settling in for the evening.
When you had us coming over to the church, you said the sun was going down and it was dusk.
Oh, yeah. The event's simultaneous to their experience, yes. Okay.
So we were gone for like 5 hours?
I would say maybe a couple hours then. Yeah, my bad. That was me missing that. I apologize. So thank you for the correction there. But either way, yes, the church was closed. It was fairly late in the evening when you arrived. There was no parishioners or anybody there when you questioned the priest. So you come back to the Manticore Inn, and it's fairly late in the evening. At this point, you guys could go back upstairs and settle in for the night.
I will do so.
When we go back upstairs, Venlee and Chip already in the room.
So Bob's going to tell me all about the people trampling around in the hallways and touching the purple goo, right?
Yeah, so when you guys would arrive back to the inn and make your way into the Manticore, when you get to the second floor, settling into your rooms, you would receive the information from Hannah and Bob, and they would tell you that, Chip and Venlee had been together in a room with the unicorn talking for a few hours.
You see a new picture hanging on the wall.
Mel is staring at the duck picture suspiciously.
So Jaron goes and knocks on Venlee's door.
I'm asleep.
Okay, you're asleep.
Yeah, I mean,
Bob didn't notice them all stomping around outside and poking the purple goo and stuff.
No, Bob would have experienced. Yeah, Bob would have witnessed them doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
but we turned around and walked away. So
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because
I
I
have a
left him there
picture.
to watch what was going on, so I'm concerned about the purple goo. Mel, would you want to stay in here and we'll keep watch on each other, and Bob can watch out and make sure that we don't have any other strangeness going?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not happy about this succubus situation. I don't think we're going to be the big targets, but it doesn't hurt to be careful.
I'm going to, Avvina's going to, as Hannah's, telling her what happened, she's just going to sit on the bed next to her and pull her into a hug and just kind of calm her down so she can go back to sleep. and then she's going to take this chair and pull it next to the bed, and then just sleep in the chair.
All right.
Venlee and Chip are good.
Yeah.
The Jaron goes actually.
Jaron goes, what?
Actually, the room is just.
Okay. So you all bed down for the rest of the evening and wake the next morning. Who's up first?
Do you want to stop there or do you want to keep going?
I mean,
I think we should stop there.
Okay. Yeah, we can end here for the night.
It's a good spot.
So we'll pick up with you guys the morning after your arrival in the town fiefdom of Lycanstone, and you all can collect the events that you experienced between the church and the mysterious purple ooze and the slime trail that you found.
Do we come back and get what smells funny?
There's a little bit of a stink.
I think maybe I did some prestidigitation before I went to bed.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to be obsessed
You know,
with it.
it's always rough when Chip doesn't flush the commode.
Jaron can tell them about his history with the dude.
Well, they would be asleep at this point, but
I
yeah,
know.
yeah. When you guys wake up. All right. Well, we'll pick up next session from there. Sorry we didn't get to the combat. You guys split the party.
Again.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
It's all
It's the
good.
best, it's the best thing. It's the best thing to do.
Well,
So
any
thank you. I'm excited for you that we finally got to the three witches part. Because I know you've been trying to get us to move along to here. So.
yeah, we'll have to see how the next game turns out and what sort of Einstein investigation skills y'all can cobble together to figure out what's going on in this town.
It'll be fun.
It's not going to be good.
It's not gonna be
Oh,
good.
it's gonna be amazing. I don't see any problems with this whatsoever.
Yeah, they invited us in. We don't know what we're doing. Mateus isn't here. Snicklewitz doesn't know. Now we can't leave. There's rampant succubuses. Yeah, it's a party.
Oh, I can leave.
It's the mayor and his wife.
Well, Venlee can leave, but he wouldn't leave the unicorn.
I can talk my way out of most things.
All right.
All right, y'all. Well, from us to you, we've been Old Dominion Heroes. Thanks for joining us for another Thursday night of D&D. Enjoy your evening and any other channels out there that you choose to support. Tune in, stream, and watch your friends play Dungeons & Dragons. Thanks for being a great community. Thanks, Homebrew Cafe and Berserking Corgi, for coming around for the raid and checking out our game as we delve into Baba Yaga's revenge. Y'all have a good night.
Teleport circle.
Everyone have a good night.
Later.
Good night.